All right. You ready? Readier than ever? Wait, mic check. Let's make sure it works. Hello?
Hello.
Oh my God, listen to him. He's so hot. And 3, 2, 1, recording on, and we're live. We're live. Welcome. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Just Chatting with Henrico, where we talk about whatever the fuck we want, because we can. And today we have one of the legends. One of the legends in the South African scene. And also, we have Twitch chat. Welcome to Twitch chat. We got to say hello to them. We've got everyone in stream tonight. As you guys know, we keep this as interactive as possible. And everyone can join in and talk. Just before I introduce our beautiful Mr. Aaron, I just want to mention something. We all struggle with something called load shedding. So Mr. Aaron, as you can see there, is looking to the side because he's looking at his inverter. Because we don't know if it's going to last. But if the inverter doesn't last, fear not, he will be back. He will be back. Mr. Aaron, I'm just going to call you Aaron, dude. Aaron, Slowye, welcome, dude. Welcome to the stream, and thank you very much for joining, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Most welcome, and can't forget to mention it's Mr. Slowye from Bravado Gaming. From the real Bravado Gaming, guys, the real ones, not even like fake ones, the real one, dude. And XDX, I think XDX summed it up the best now. He said, it's the world's oldest Counter-Strike player. I've never been able to speak to the world's oldest Counter-Strike. What is that like, man? What is it like being the the oldest Counter-Strike?
All I'm saying is I judge my career on Dupree's, because he's always 1 year older than me. So as soon as he decides to retire, I can then sit there and be like, okay, cool, I've got a year left, and then I've got to retire.
There you go. Perfect. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to all, and welcome to everyone in Twitch chat. Quick little shout out to Zypher. Thank you very much for the 23-month sub. I appreciate it. If you are watching this on YouTube, we have the little live chat here. We've got it all here, and we can talk. And I am actually super excited to talk to you, because just before we started this, I had a quick little off-stream conversation with Mr. Slowye, obviously, because, got to get acquainted properly. We've seen each other a few times at events. We've had a few little talks here. And I said I was really excited to talk to you because you have been here since before the Second World War, when Counter-Strike was released. And you've seen it all. You've quite literally seen it all, I think, with regards to the scene. And, our scene that is in our minds might be a big one, but it's actually very, very small compared to the rest of the world, right? If you think about it, if you think like EU, NA, all those. So I would love to ask you, where did you start? Be it competitive Counter-Strike, be it Bravado, where did you start? Where does Slowye come from? Where did you originally start? Let's start with your name, the name Slowye. Where did all that start? How did it get to where we are now?
So I think before I started playing like competitive games, I think in maybe 2008. So the amount of times that I say 2008, and it's like 3 years before 3 years after Voljan was born. So
yeah, I was grade 7 and grade 8, dude. Oh, in 2008, I was grade 7 in 2008. So I mean,
yeah, you're 1 year behind me.
Oh, you're 29, yes?
Yeah,
I'm turning 28 this year. Okay.
Yeah. So initially, I started playing COD 4 Modern Warfare. I think it was my brother and his friend that got me into it. We were just playing like LAN games and stuff like that, because at the time we didn't really even have proper internet or anything like that. Just don't mind the little cat's tail every now and then. You might see a cat running around.
That's okay, dude. We love it. We love a good kitty. We love a good pussy. I mean, there's nothing. We love a good kitty on screen, on camera. I promise you, the cat will get more attention than us. I promise you that.
Most likely, yeah. So I started in 2008 with my brother, and it was probably actually like 2000 and even like 6 or 7 when I started playing COD 4. I would say like professionally, but just like learning the game and stuff like that.
Back then we had clans.
Yeah, pretty much. So then when I first started, I was like, okay, what can my name be that's just gonna irritate the living shit out of everybody? And it was like, you know what? I see a lot of these snipers where they literally just sit, like it's like they almost AFK in spawn, like they don't run forward from their spawn, they run backwards and they're like just prone. And I was like, those guys are the ones that irritate everybody. You know, they don't defuse the bomb, they don't plant the bomb or anything like that. They just sit there and they wait for you to hunt them, and then they kill you and they piss you off. So I was like, you know what, like, I think I put it as like slow, just with a Y at the end, like slow, like why are you still in spawn kind of thing.
Okay.
And then eventually I just added an E. I think that was also a phase in the COD 4 scene where it was like, yeah, like at the end of everybody's name.
Okay,
much.
I remember that, yeah.
So I added that to my name, and then I just stuck with it. And then eventually, like when I try to play like those guys, just AFK and spawn, I try to do that. And then, like, I think off the first game, I got so bored.
Yeah, you get bored, right?
I just didn't see anybody. I don't have that kind of patience. As someone that has ADD, like I can't sit in the back there. So I was like, you know what? Like, let's just see what happens. And I just started running at everybody, playing like hyper aggressive. And it was actually then where I realized that I was like, okay, everybody's gonna start changing my name for me, and like, oh, everyone like, oh, Fasty, or oh, you're not so slow, are you? And it's like, okay, guys, like that's the point of the name, you know.
Gotta love that. I want to interrupt you real quick. I just want to have a quick little shout out in chat. We have Slowye Mom in chat tonight, guys. We have Slowye Mom in chat. How adorable. Hello, Tani. My name is Henrico, and I am interviewing your beautiful son. So thank you very much for tuning into the stream. Big shout out to your mom, bro. That's pretty fucking sick. My mom also comes to my stream sometimes.
Yeah.
And
my mom's been in your stream a few times whenever you cast our games.
I'm so sorry, Tani. I swear, like, it's all jokes. It's just I'm full of humor. I'm full of humor, I promise. Okay, so from COD, you play aggressive. This is a completely little, but I never had internet growing up. I only got internet when I was like in grade 11, and grade 10. I played World of Warcraft. I never played COD online. Most of my friends played COD online, and so I only ever played COD at like LANs and stuff. And I was just the guy that was like horrible, just running around with like whatever default gun I can get. And you mentioning now, people not camping. Whenever Warzone dropped, and or the new Warzone came out, whenever I play with like different people, especially the COD people, you get people like that who just wants to play everything slow, take their time, and I'm just
in a bush, I'm just AFK in the circle, and you find
the streamer in me comes out, and I'm like, I want to go, like, let's just go push them, and then we die, and then I get mad at everyone, but I'm the one that's aggressive, and I feel like that's kind of taken a little bit into your CS playstyle as well, because I feel like you're a pretty aggressive player.
Yeah, so when I was playing COD 4 until about 2013 when I won VS. I think the VS finals. It was the last COD 4 one, and then for some reason I decided to. Okay, I think we're good.
Electricity, baby! Yeah, South Africa coming in clutch for Slowye. Let's go.
Yeah. So then for some reason I was like, hey, let's go play Dota 2 competitive, and then I regretted I regretted my life for 2 years.
You played Dota 2? I didn't. Yeah. I never knew that.
Yeah, I think I've got like almost 6,000 hours in Dota 2 or something like that.
Why would you do that to yourself, man?
my best mates were playing Dota 2 at the time, and we were like, let's make a team and let's see what happens. And we went pretty far. I think we were like top 6 in Prem for quite a while, and then and then I just didn't want to play the game anymore. I was like, guys, this is not for me. I have to be in it. I have to be shooting people, and like I just can't play slow things. I'm not a slow, methodical player. I just want to be in there and kill everyone. Like that's it.
Natural born gamer, it seems.
Yeah. And then from there, I remember I was like, oh, okay, this is the end of my retirement. I think this was like 2015. I was like, okay, cool. I'm now going to retire from gaming and, go into studies and stuff. And then I don't think everybody will recognize the name, but there was a guy that used to play in XD. His name is TJ. It was him and Beast and all of them. So he asked me the one day, he was like, look, we have a spot at DGC if you want to come play for us for CS. Now at this time I was playing very, very basic, I think MM and stuff like that. I think I might have even been a LEM at the time. And all of the guys that were inviting me were all like Supreme and Global and stuff. And like at that time I cared about rank, where I was like, oh, I'm going to be playing against like the best of the best. And, oh no, what am I going to do? And then he just said to me, "Is like, look, do you want to join us for Rage? It's a free ticket to Rage. You get to have fun in the little underground area." So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And then I think it was 2 weeks leading up towards Rage. We had to play what were they called? It was 2 VS games at the time. And when we started playing them, he was like, "Okay, do you have any experience in in-game leading?" And I was like, "What is an in-game leader?" I don't know what that is.
How do I do this?
But then he was like, "Oh, it's just someone that pretty much directs the team and tells them, okay, like where are we going to be going, how fast, how slow, you know, like just the basics thing." So I was like, I think I saw Sent do it once in 2006 at my first rage ever. So I was like, I remember it was like, it's still ingrained in my head that I was standing behind the BVD team where it was like Sent, Demi, and all of them. And I stand there and he's like, "Okay, cool, guys." They were playing Nuke at the time. And he's like, "Okay, cool. We're going to exec at 133. Okay, cool." Flashes, smokes, and just the whole thing just burst out and they win the round. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's all IGLing is, just telling people to hit a site at a certain time and that's it. So when I first got into the scene, we started, I can't even remember who we were playing it at the time, but we like sweeped our first two or our last two VS games. And then we went into Rage. Now it's like my first ever CS LAN. I don't know any of these players at all. Like I might have seen one or two of them play in maybe the finals and stuff like that. Like I know obviously everybody knows like Detrony, Sent and stuff like that. Some of them, some of the other ones as well. But like these were the main ones, you know.
But the OGs, like the OGs for us.
Yeah. So I go into the LAN now. Our first game is against WRG Aspire, which was QQ and some other people, and it was also Pac-Man.
I remember.
101.54.
Oh boy, Kyle. Yeah.
So now, Kyle. So everybody walks up to me and they're like, "Dude, just be careful of Kyle. Like if he has an AWP, like you don't want to just straight on duel him. Like just be careful. Don't take him on." And I was like, "Dude, I've never heard of this guy before in my life, dude. Like."
And now people are warning you against him, bro. You have to play it.
Everyone's like, no, don't push him. Now I'm playing our first game. It's a best of one against WRG Aspire, and they were seen to like go into like quarters and stuff like that. And our first game against him was on Dust 2. Now I'm like shaking the first round, but then literally directly after that first round, I was like, "Oh wait, I'm on LAN. I've played this many years already. Like let's just snap back into it." And at one point in time, I think I was like 18 for 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Against him, I think we were winning like 9-1 ahead or something like that. And the only time that I had an AWP was when I picked it off Kyle's body. And I started just killing him and killing him and killing him.
Oh, I gotta love that, dude.
And he got so frustrated. And then I remember right before we were doing the vetoes for that map, QQ walks up to me. And he says to me, he's like, he brings out this whole exam pad of all the vetoes that we've done throughout the leg and stuff like that. And I look at it and I'm like, "Dude, that's not gonna help." He's like, why won't that help? I was like, "Dude, I just joined this team 2 weeks ago. We don't even know what a map pool is. He's just picking maps." I've never seen someone drop a exam pad so fast. He just drops on the floor. He's like, "Okay."
Well, now he's to play anyway. Yeah. I mean, it's a very different. It's such a fucking different time. Like even me thinking about it now, like I personally got a little bit more involved in the pro scene. I would say 2020. When I originally actually signed up for Southern Lions, the Faceit scene in South Africa, and I really got a lot more into the pro scene because I've known about the pro scene and I knew they were there, but you know, like looking at it from an outside perspective, I'm like, these guys don't give a fuck about who I am. Like these are the pros, like leave them alone, right? And then I got to like know a lot of the people. I mean, you, Blaze, Wolge, if you look at the FE side, like Emma, Wabi, Megan, all those people, like the whole, there's too many to name, but like all of them. Yeah. And I started realizing that everyone is actually like, not everyone's dicks, you know? Some people are actually just genuine nice people. And if you think about it, like even then things are so different now, which is like, now you're going to fucking Katowice, bro. I think, is it Katowice or Katowice? I don't know. I usually say Katowice.
Yeah, it's Katowice. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to Katowice with Bravado, and we'll get to all that. But like, you just saying like, you know, you guys was at a LAN event with like fucking notepads and shit. And like, I bet you guys probably sat like across from each other or like a few tables away from each other.
So at this time it was actually probably the best time to actually play competitively. So in Johannesburg we have like the Coca-Cola Dome, or it used to be the Coca-Cola Dome. Now it's the We Buy Cars thing. So in there you have essentially where the LAN event would be, where everybody's like bring your own computer and stuff. In the center there you have the expo itself where people are selling everything. And then downstairs is where you would have the VS tournament. It was I can't remember. I think it was called like the cave or the underground or something like that. But it was literally just tables and tables and tables, all stacked around in like let's say like a semicircle or something like that, and it would literally just be different game around different game. So
Holy
like you'd
crap.
go through the first category that's literally like Battlefield, then Dota 2, then Counter-Strike, then COD 4, and you would just walk from the entrance and you'd walk around all of the different games, and it was everything's going on at the same time. You know, if one PC drops that has like two different servers being hosted, like one let's say
It just
Dota
drops
2 and then one thing, literally it drops, everybody pauses, we wait, and you just hear people scream.
Oh my
'Cause the
God.
thing is, back then you couldn't even you couldn't always just reset the round.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
you would
there was
have
no
to-
match medic, bro.
Yeah. Sometimes you would have to sit there and be like, okay, cool, we were 3-1 ahead. I had X amount of kills, you had X amount of kills, and you would have to re-kill everybody from beginning
No
till you
shot.
catch up. Yeah.
That's
It's
insane.
either that, unless
That's
the teams
insane.
decided on like, you know what, let's just restart it from the beginning and go again.
Oh
Which,
my
you know,
God.
if you're leading, it's not something you wanna
That's
do.
yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It shows you how much things has changed already for us.
Yeah.
I mean, our scene is, dude. I sometimes don't think, and even me, I'm not a professional at all. I just like, I'm an everywhere person. I like supporting the local people. Like, people are always like, oh, you're biased to Bravado, but biased to Nexo, you're biased to the. Hello, motherfuckers. These are my homies. Like, I'm biased to everyone. I'm gonna cheer for them regardless. You know,
Bias to the wallets.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. He understands. Bias to the wallets, bro. South Africa's #1 tumor. But like, I just want to support everyone in that sense. And to think about like our scene is so small compared to like the rest of the world. People don't always get it. Now I want to ask you something. Did you ever attend the OC lands in Cape Town?
No.
Oh, you didn't. Okay. Yeah, because you're a Joburg person.
So
You did raids and stuff.
There was one time that it was, I can't remember the exact time. I think it was VS, but I think that they couldn't host it at the Dome for the 1 year. I don't know. I can't remember the reason why. But essentially, they paired with the OC organization to host it in Joburg.
Okay.
So they hosted an OC in Joburg.
Yeah, I
where
remember
we
there was like
played
one or two of them.
VS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
Okay, no, it was interesting. You, especially mentioning COD, because I remember when I went to the OC lands, like that was my thing. I went to the OC lands. And we would play Counter-Strike Source or COD 4 on LAN just all weekend. And COD 4 was always so big. Like they always had. It wasn't big tournaments, like local tournaments, like just a bunch of homies that are entering in a team. And COD 4 was so big back then. So it's always nice to like hear people talk about COD, and you ask them if you've ever been to the OC, and they're like, yeah, I played the OC. I'm like, holy shit, I've probably seen you there. I just can't remember it.
Yeah. So that event that OC actually hosted in Joburg, I think that event was actually my breakthrough event in COD 4 at the time, because I was playing for maybe like 7th or 8th best team for COD 4 at the time, and like I wouldn't say the gap was as hectic as it is now in terms of like Counter-Strike, where you got top 2, then there's a little bit of gap to like top 4, and then a massive gap like onwards.
Yeah.
But essentially, like the gap was like if you weren't in the top 4 teams, like you were kind of like irrelevant in a sense. And at the teams, at the time, it was Vega, which was like Ventus's Ventus Gaming. Then it was Mint Gaming, and then it was Bravado, and then it was EG at the time.
Holy crap, EG, dude.
And I remember we were playing. One of the other guys asked me, "Hey, do you want to come sub for us?" And it was actually Shaz's cousin.
Oh,
he was also playing COD 4. So that's how I actually met Shaz. That she was the loudest person at the LAN event. When she was playing Counter-Strike, you would hear her screaming across the other side of the
Gotta get
dome.
amped.
Yeah.
Gotta get amped.
So her cousin asked me, like, "Hey, do you want to come sub for us? We're playing at the OC event." So I was like, "Oh, you know what? Once again, free event. My team didn't qualify. It is what it is. Let's see what happens." We end up facing against Mint. Now, these guys are like incredibly good aimers, but they're what's it called? Like the mechanics were good, but their strats weren't good. So if they were there on the day and they just like came in, they would just wreck anybody. But if they didn't have the aim on the day, they would just get stomped out of So we played against them at the time, and now we're playing with a guy that maybe had 200 hours in COD 4, and then I'm sitting there with maybe like 6 or 7K, and then like we weren't the best team, but we were just there to have fun. And I remember we upset them at the time, and there was a random event. I think it was like Samsung or something like that was sponsoring the event. It was like for the, it's not the man of the match, but like it was like the match of the tournament or something like that. They would give away 5 Samsung Wave phones.
Damn.
And I remember, yeah. So
The
I remember
Wave
we literally went into that game with
We're
like,
sold.
okay, cool. We you know, like, let's see what happens. And I think we beat them like 39 or something like that. I think I like dropped almost like 40 kills or something. But then obviously afterwards we lost because I think we played against Bravado and they just stomped us like it was like 13-1, 13-2 or something. I remember going on my way home, and then I get a message from Sharon's cousin. It's like, "Hey, did you need to come back?" So I was like, "Why do I need to come back?" They're like, "You want a phone?" we got the match of the event, so everybody gets a Samsung phone. So I was like, "Oh, wait,
Fuck yeah, dude.
cool,
Free
But then
event, free phone.
Yeah, literally 2 weeks after that, I get a message from the owner of Mint, and he's like, "Hey, would you be interested in joining us?" And I was like, "Well." Cool.
Talk to me. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's how I joined Mint at the time.
Damn, so you really have been on the precipice of esports.
Yeah.
We got a quick little shout out from chat here. It's the Snake Casting says, tell Slowye Damien says hi.
Yeah.
Damien says hello.
Damien's my best friend, and he's also my best man for my wedding.
Damn, Damien,
yeah.
welcome, bro. What a mad lad.
And he was also the one that got me into Dota. So
No,
yeah.
man, Damien. What is this, bro? No, why did he? I'm joking. That's pretty freaking awesome. I see Slay also says the Velodrome is still standing. I mean, the Velodrome is still standing, but it's not. It'll never be what it used to be, man. God, I miss the OC lands, bro. Those are the days, dude. OC lands was so sick, dude. 1,200 people inside of a room. Just playing, and it's all LAN, no
games,
online.
yeah.
Yeah, no, all fucking LAN. And I was a big World of Warcraft guy. So they would set up like a World of Warcraft offline server, and you'll play that. And then you go play some Counter-Strike Source. Or 1.6, whatever the fuck they had. And then you play COD 4. And I remember the 1 year, there was finally a Modern Warfare 2 offline server. And I don't think I've ever seen that many people play Modern Warfare 2 offline ever in my life. Like, ever in my freaking life. And it was just the greatest times. So transitioning, we go from you've been a gamer your whole life pretty much. Played Space Impact on his mom's phone. Started early, and Snake was good. Do you never play Space Impact, bro? Don't you remember Space Impact on the Nokia?
I did, but I'm talking about like before.
Oh,
Space
even
Impact
before
even
that.
came. Talking about like Nokia 3310 days, like the one that you could break a hammer with. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you use it as a hammer. The sub goal has been made. I made a sub goal that said Slowye hits a dab if we get 7 subs, and we've now gotten 7 subs, Slowye. So I think it's time. Slowye. You hit the best dab.
Emma's ready.
Emma's ready with the clips. Bravado media team standing by on the phone. Everybody get your clips ready. Thank you very much, right now, for the 7 gifted subs. Very, very much appreciated. Oh, it's one more. Come on, just one more. Come on, just another one. There we go. Oh yes, there it is. Beautiful. Thank you very much, right now, for the gifted subs. We appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you for doing that. So COD. So
yeah.
do you still have a love for? Do you still have a love for COD, or are you kind of like away from that?
So after COD 4, I tried like Black Ops 1. That was okay, but it didn't feel like it was like COD mechanics. It felt like completely different, so I didn't like it. And then every single COD after that was just worse and worse and worse and worse. And then I think the only time that I actually reinstalled any COD, other than maybe like the single player games or the single player like campaigns and stuff, was Modern. What was it? It was the Warzone. When Warzone first came out.
Modern Warfare. That was the original Modern Warfare.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to play the Warzone and stuff like that's really sick, because it's Battle Royale at the time." So I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's see what it's about." And I remember joining once again. I was joining Damien and my other friends, who they sitting there dropping like 5 or 6 kills or something like that. I think I dropped like 22 kills in my first Warzone game, and I was like,
You're just better, man.
Nothing's
changed. It's still COD.
This game's still the same.
I have to say, dude, every year, then people are like, bro, the new COD's gonna be so fucking sick. And even someone who doesn't play COD, even someone who genuinely doesn't play COD as those people, I'm like, it's the same game.
It's the copium.
Thank you. It's literally copium.
Every single year, I remember literally when they announced Black Ops 1, everybody was like, oh, okay, this is going to replace Modern Warfare. And then it was like Black Ops 2, oh, this is going to replace Modern Warfare. And then it got to like, I can't remember, it was like Ghost. And then as soon as it got to Advanced Warfare, everybody was like, okay, let's wait for the game to launch, see, and then we can make our decision. But yeah.
Yeah, no one really liked Advanced Warfare. So, okay. I would love to get a little bit in, and for me, not only for me, but for also anyone listening or watching. Your story on joining Bravado. How did that all happen? How did you get into the Bravado CS team where you are currently? I mean, Bravado is arguably one of the biggest orgs in the country,
Yeah.
And also one of the longest standing orgs, because these fucking days, every second kid has CEO of XYZ org in their Twitter bio, because everyone wants an org, but Bravado has stood the test of time. They have stood the test of, gaining sponsorship, getting financial gain. I genuinely think that if there's someone I wish I could talk to, and I would never ask him again because I've asked him so many times, it's Demi. I wish I could talk to him, but he's such a himself person. Like, he's just focusing on his life, his goals, and his org. And I think that is something to look up to. So he's been there since the start, quite literally. So I'd love to learn. How did this all happen for you?
So essentially, I think I had a dream, like, it must have been like 2012 or something like that. I was like, one day I want to play for Bravado, because it's such a, like, the brand was so, like, looked after. You never, like, I believe it was created in 2006. And
yes, we have confirmation in chat that it is what actually made it.
So the reason why I ever knew about Bravado was because the best team in COD at the time, their name was Brazen. Their clan name was Brazen, and they merged with Bravado Gaming. So that's how I was introduced to, like, Bravado Gaming and, like, what they were all about and stuff. So at the time I was like, I'm going to join those guys. Those guys are the best. That's what I'm going to strive to be. And then we'll come to, like, now, before I joined the Counter-Strike team, I remember it was when I just left the ATK organization. I was like, okay, cool. This isn't for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the whole overseas thing. There's just too much drama going on left, right, and center. Let me just. I
didn't say anything.
Let me just stay in South Africa, and if anything happens, it happens. If anybody offers me, I'll see what I get offered and stuff. And I think must have been just before I was doing the analyst desk for the VS one, where Demi was playing for BVD.
Yeah.
He asked me if I wanted to come to the HQ. So I came to the HQ, and then that's when we kind of discussed the whole thing. He said that he's got way too much stuff going on. He has to take, like, the back burner, and he has to actually, like, it's time for him to officially hand in his mouse, kind of thing. Because, I mean, he's done it like 8 times in every single organization. It's like, Demi, please come back. Just stand in for us for this event, please. And then he just said, like, look, I want you to be my replacement. And then for me, like, that was incredible to hear. Like, you can be offered to join any organization, okay, but being offered to join Bravado from
the man himself,
from Detrini himself, that's just, you just sit there and you're like, I've made it. Like, this is, I don't care what happens. I could literally, this whole project could burn to the ground, but I would still be happy that I've hit that, like, peak. But then as soon as I hit that, I was like, you know what? It's not just about that now. It's the next goal. It's like filling Detrini's shoes or creating my own. That was essentially the direction that I was going to go for.
And were you instantly IGL for Bravado?
Yeah.
Okay, so you joined. So I'm guessing Demi was the IGL before.
Yeah, so Demi was the IGL, but he had a lot more like a hands-on role. He was super into micromanaging and stuff, and me coming off ATK, we didn't have that kind of, there was no micromanaging or anything like that. Like, Gareth would call a specific strat or something specific, but there was leniency with what you could do, what you couldn't do, and that's kind of how I enjoyed playing. And at the time, that was how I wanted to run the team. But the problem was that I'm going into a team that I want everybody to be super aggressive and fast-paced and, like, just have the confidence just to big dick anybody that they see.
There we go.
But you're going into a team that's been micromanaged, like, massively, that everybody kind of waits to be told, like, what they need to do. Like, not everybody, but there were a few players that relied on that because they got used to that, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of playstyle. Some people thrive off being told, like, you're a turret, go over here, and then they go get, like, they kill everybody. But other people aren't like that. Other people prefer having their own ideas that they can maybe bring to the table, mention something, and that was what I wanted to bring to the table. And essentially, when we started doing that project with, it was me, EXE, the man, Flexi, and Wipeout. When we were trying to do that, it was just clashing. Like I figured it would. That's why I tried to bring more of what I saw to the table, and show people like, look, this is what we used to do, this is why we used to win X and Y. But at the same time, people also don't agree with that kind of Counter-Strike, because it might be more risky, it might not be as sustainable and stuff like that. So eventually I just got to the point where I was like, I said to Detrini, I was like, look, I kind of want to play with the people that I did before, the people that I know and the people that I'm comfortable around.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was actually speaking to Blaze, and then I spoke to Doru about it as well. And I was like, "What are we getting the boys back in town?" And then they were like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it."
Let's do it.
And then at the time, it was actually quite funny. So when Voljan came back to South Africa, he messaged us. He was like, "Oh, guys, I'm gonna make a team. Like, I'm gonna make a team in South Africa. Do you guys want to join us?" And all of us are sitting there like, no, we good. We all good. And we sitting there. He doesn't know why none of us want to
join him, dude. Poor man.
Why no one wants to join him. So we sit there, and eventually it just gets to the point where we are like, he's sitting there. He's like, I don't know what's actually happening. Why don't you guys want to join us? And then I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think he said, he was like, I want to make a team and stuff. And then eventually it was me, Blaze, and Doru. We were obviously sitting on Discord. We invite Voljan to come join us. And then we said to him, like, "Hey, bud, so I've been given the go-ahead. Do you want to come join us at Bravado?" And he goes, "So that's what you guys are doing."
Shame the poor homie.
He was so upset. He was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm trying to get the boys back together, but everybody hates me." And it's like, what's going on?
Honestly, I feel for my boy Walls. And he's so cracked as well, dude. Just want to run over to chat here, just to welcome everyone who is watching. We have our boy Slowye here. Zeko, Slowye is the IGL for Bravado Gaming, which is one of our CSGO professional teams. Wait, you have a new IGL now?
Yeah, it's Doru. Doru's been IGL since I think beginning of this year. Or even end of last.
Slowye wasn't good enough, so he was replaced as an IGL, but he's still the mad fragger. And they are actually going to the ESL challenges in Katowice. So we're gonna be watching them soon. So we got him over here. Welcome to everyone. I do see that your best man also showed up in chat. I just want to say hello to him. Yeah, he follows you. I mean, he has to. He's the best man. So yeah, welcome to everyone and all. I appreciate it. So now you make the team, obviously. You make the team, and so I would love to ask you a few questions about like actual in-game. So we always make a joke about, hey, W key, or like, yo, Slowye, go kill. That's the comm. Do these things ever actually happen in match? Because I've genuinely never, aside from watching like YouTube videos of pro games where they call a strat or whatever. Now I'd love to know, like, from your, not only from your perspective as an IGL, but from your perspective as a player, are there sometimes rounds where you're either stumped, or let's say you're 7-1 down. You're 7-1 down, you've now called 8 strats, and it's just not working. Are there sometimes moments where you're just like, okay, Doru, go kill? Are these actual, obviously not in those words, but are there sometimes where you're just hoping that one of your players just pops the fuck off and creates an opening? Or is there sometimes where you're just like, hey, just everyone go somewhere?
So majority of the time, if we are down like 7-1 or something like that, it generally goes down to either like our communication being very slow or quiet, not everybody's head is in the game, or even we're just not hitting our shots. So off doing that, normally during like attack pause, you'll see that maybe we'll discuss like what's happening, like why are we losing? Okay, they're taking too much mid control, or we're not reacting, or we just dying, we're losing our jewels and stuff like that. And then we'll go ahead with certain, like I wouldn't say certain strats, but we do have a strat here or there that it's the way that the way that the strat is named is there to inspire confidence. Like we have certain strats which is literally called like fuck the B guys, and we literally go and we overwhelm them with numbers and we just kill them, because then they're going to be frustrated. They're going to be like, why is there 5 rifles?
Yeah, why are they
like why are they just like rushing at us and stuff like that? And then that's when we start getting into their heads, and we start actually having a little bit of fun, and we start throwing some different things around. But essentially it goes down to who needs to be like, I would say the map. Like for example, on Mirage, there's only so many things on CT side that you can say, okay, cool. Like riflers, we need to be doing more. You know, like you can do like mid setups, you can do like mid crunches and stuff. But essentially, like the AWP is the most crucial part where you can send them palace, ramp, mid, lowers, and like B to find that entry pick. And that's essentially what gets you. That's what starts getting you that lead. It's that each map kind of has certain things that you need to be in control of, and if you aren't in control of those, that's where you start dropping like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds in a row. Obviously there is like some clutches and stuff, but generally it goes down to, is the communication like efficient? If it is efficient, then it must be maybe they are either the team that we're playing is hot tonight, or we just aren't thinking. Like sometimes, you know, you just need a little clutch just to get the momentum up or something like that. So there can be certain things, but there'll be very few rounds where you just call like a extremely loose thing that's like, okay, try it and go kill kind of thing. Like you'll have certain strats around that, maybe where you back that player up. Maybe you do like a B rush and he's going to be the one like leading the team into B kind of thing, where all of the flashes are going to be behind him, so he's not blind and he just sees people that are blind. Okay. So there are some like situations where you can kind of do that, but essentially, if you are down numbers, that is when you lean on your strats. Essentially, teams will kind of have like the first 3 rounds kind of planned, like pistol, anti-eco, and then the first buy round, whether it's a rush or you're going to overwhelm people with util, or it will be just like straight defaults and stuff like that. And if you're losing your defaults, that is generally when you are losing your duels and stuff like that. Like if everybody's trying to do their defaults and they're getting caught off with a nade in their hand, or you know, they swing, they miss because they got like, I don't know, we blinded them or something like that, then that's when you go to the 0-1 or 7-1, 6-2s and stuff like that. And then that's when you'll start using the set pieces that you have practiced multiple times, that you know that if you need a round and you need to win, we've practiced this and we've dry run it 100 times. Let's just lean on one of those just to get that extra round in our favor, just to get us like back that momentum that okay, cool, we can actually win this game.
Would you say confidence is a very I'm asking not only as a fan but also as a player of the game. Do you think confidence has a lot, if not everyone on your team is confident? Because a lot of times I'm not very confident in like the fight side tech. But would you say, as someone now who's competed at the top, not only as an IGL, but only as someone who competes as a player, would you say confidence is a big part of like your gameplay?
I would say confidence is like the main part of your gameplay, because I mean, confidence revolves around everything. If you sit there in an official or a scrim or something like that and you're changing your sense, your res, your crosshair, your view model like mid-game, it just means that you aren't confident with the way that you are currently placed.
Shut up,
and it means that you change something. It means like, you know, some people will sit there and be like, okay, cool, my screen needs to be X centimeters away from my face, and if it's too far, then I'm not going to play bad, and you like lose those kind of confidence. Okay. But it's also then it goes into confidence with your teammates, goes into confidence with your IGL, and then confidence with yourself. If you believe in your IGL, it's literally do dumb, but do dumb together confidently.
Do dumb shit.
And you can literally win anything. If you believe in the strat 100% and you have no doubt and you've pre-run the strat, but let's say, for example, if we say, okay, cool, let's do a B rush. And it's like, why would we do a B rush or something like that? As soon as there's any doubt, there's a high chance that you aren't going to win that. Unless obviously the other, you've got like Voljan or Kian on your team that just run and get 5 kills and stuff. So that's about it. But I mean, majority of the time, if there's any doubt, that's when you start playing worse, because you start thinking to yourself, I probably shouldn't do this play because if I die, I'll probably lose us this round, and then it's going to put us more in the hole kind of thing. If you sit there and you're confident and you just swing, kill 2 guys and you get out, like what was the doubt for? Kind of
exactly.
Thing.
Okay, no, and I mean, I'm a matchmaking player because I don't really like our faces system in our country, because our country is a bit too small, scene's a bit too small, so I can't really have fun, I would say, in a sense, the way I want to. But now, obviously, I'm stuck with matchmaking. But the thing that I hate the most, and I also do this, I am also guilty of this, so I'm being hypocritical, but it's like if I join an MM game and then someone in my team's like, oh, bro, GG, we're playing against Jason 420 Pussy Slayer XX, it's over, bro. This guy's cracked. Like, I feel like that breaks down not only that person's confidence immediately, but also like my own. Because I'm like, fuck, now I have to play against like some crackhead. Where in the sense, if I just did not know who I'm playing against, like I could be queuing into a 5-man Bravado team, but you guys are all named Jan Piet and Sari. I would be like, I don't know any of these guys, so I'm gonna peak you with confidence, right? And I do genuinely feel. From my perspective, like if I play with confidence, I play better. But whenever there's no confidence, then I just feel I feel like it all just comes crumbling down. So it was very interesting for me to for you to say. I mean, like I said, someone who's been at the top and playing at the top, that it is one of the most important things. So now you've joined Bravado. You IGL Bravado. Obviously, Daru is now the IGL. Was that a difficult transition for you, or not really? Going from being the leader to like being the person that just listens.
Yeah. So the thing with me is I'm a very talkative person, and when I see things, it literally just like verbal diarrhea out my mouth. Like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, and stuff. And when you have someone like not only like Doru, but majority of like IGLs that they have a vision in the plan for the game that maybe they're trying to do a lot more B stuff because they want to get the A players to start stacking B a little bit more, which means that our A set pieces will be a lot cleaner because we don't have to worry about so many numbers being on that kind of site. And when I'm sitting there and I'm calling things on the fly and loose and quick and stuff like that, it doesn't follow the plan that the IGL has set for the game. Okay. If he knows, okay, like, because at the end of the day, like, if I watch the other team's demos and I understand their tendencies and stuff, I probably wouldn't do as many like on the fly calls just because I would know what these teams, like how their rotations are and stuff like that. I would think more long term. But if you don't watch how your teammate or how your opponents play, you might just sit there and be like, oh, I heard 3 people B, let's run A. Meanwhile, you didn't hear anybody. You heard your teammate step next to you, and then that's how you end up dying.
Okay. I see Snare Casting says, every tournament I've ever won, I was uber confident and that result would happen. I've lost 20s being the favorite because I lost my certainty in my ability. So I'm guessing that comes back to the confidence. I think that's actually very well said. Speaking about being confident, are you better than Detrony? Do you think you're better?
It's difficult. The problem is that that's a very difficult question because we play 2 completely different play styles. Yeah. It would be literally the same as
I'm just poking, by the way. Just
comparing device to like simple AWPing, not simple rifling, like device AWPing and simple AWPing. Like for me, I'm an extremely aggressive AWPer like simple, whereas Dimmy can be aggressive, but he's more like team based and smart based, whereas me, it's just air and go kill.
Okay.
That's kind of the situation.
Okay.
But for me, the biggest thing that I learned when trying to play against players at a higher level is instead of saying, are we playing against Detrony +4 or something like that, you see the name Detrony, you're like, I'm going to fuck him up. I'm going to ruin his MM day. Like, that's the way that you need to see it. Every single game that I've ever played, if I see someone that's either people respect the hell out of, if I see him in the game, I am going to try harder than I ever have, to make sure that guy knows my name.
It's like you're aiming against a homie. If you queue against a homie, like you sweat immediately, but you're pretty like, oh, this is easy, bro. But in person, you're like, yeah, okay.
If you're playing against your teammates, it's like, dude, I'm not gonna. You don't want to take it seriously, but that like if you lose that game, they're gonna sit there and be like, oh, you were slacking today. Hey, are you okay? Do you need to go warm up? And then people face each other.
I love that. I briefly spoke to Emma before, and I just asked her for some little snippets, and she actually made something that I would before we get into the Katowice. So the last time Dimitri was at ESL Challengers. Was there for the IEM NA minor finals. Has that, I don't know how to ask this, but has that put any pressure on you guys to perform even more because he was already there, or was this just like another day at the office for you? We're gonna qualify. We got this, OG.
For us, are this pre-qualifiers or?
Well, she just said ESL Challengers Katowice, and the last time Bravado was there, Demi was there for the IEM NA minor finals. I don't know what that means.
So for us, it just means that when they flew over from North America, they were trying to qualify for the major for that.
Okay. So I'm guessing that was Project Destiny, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Emma.
So for us, I think we are just happy that essentially like BVD kind of has goals throughout the year that they want us to kind of achieve and stuff. And obviously like last year, for example, it was Rotterdam where we were just short of winning that, or yeah, just short of winning that. And then this year it was obviously Katowice, where I think initially it was it was in Netherlands. I can't remember the exact one. But it initially was in Netherlands, and then they changed it to Katowice, which for me is fine because I mean Katowice is a really well-known city for Counter-Strike. Yeah, so for us, I think just qualifying initially was like, okay, cool, we achieved one of the core dreams that we wanted to under this kind of roster, and it also like cements us to work harder for that. Because not only is it like, okay, cool, it's not like we just seeing it as, okay, you know, we're gonna go overseas and just slack and get a nice little vacation. Like, no, we've been preparing every single day, adding new stuff consistently, working on it, adding more stuff, dry running it, fixing it, adapting it, making it as like clean and clinical as possible, just so that if we have all of that down and we begin our boot camp in Europe, it means that anything new that we learn from the European teams, we can just add into our strat book kind of thing, or like our defaults or something like that. We see AWPers using new kind of style of AWPing. Maybe I can add that to mine kind of thing. So we are going there as to gain as much experience as possible, but at the same time we are going there to try and make a dent.
Yeah, I mean it's always like something we don't always understand. Like obviously people in Twitch chat or YouTube chat or whatever, like after game chat, or I don't think they quite understand the difference between what we have in the South African scene compared to the EU scene. Because I've spoken to so many people that's played in both EU and NA that are professionals. They say you might be at the top of your game in South Africa. Yes, you are. You're the best. You're slamming scrims. Everything feels good. You get to EU, those guys read you in 2 rounds. Like it's a completely different game. So that's why we have stuff like boot camps, which you guys are going to do, which gives you the opportunity to go and practice and learn from what other players do and how they might play their games. And I think that also kind of binds into a question that I saw you in chat from Kitty Cat, which says, what do you guys do when the team mental is low? Like, let's say, I'm going to put you in a very real scenario here. Let's say you guys pitch up at ESL, and your first game, you guys are down 1-7, but you see the mental is low. How do you guys pick each other up? Aside from the fact of like cracking jokes and stuff, because yes, you can laugh at a joke or you can have like a good moment, but mentally, like do you think it's possible to just reset as a person, but also your team? How would you guys handle that? Or how does a pro player, I guess everyone's different, but how would you think, or how would you say a professional player handles that?
For me, I think the best advice I ever read was from Fallen that said that, like, if you focus on what happened the previous round every single time, you've lost the round because you are playing in the past. Because you don't actually think about what's going to happen next, how do I need to play this game or anything like that. If you sit there, you lose the pistol round because your teammate shot you in the head and that caused you guys to lose the pistol round. If that guy's still talking about the pistol round 5 rounds later, that's already a problem. You can't have that. So essentially, if you are playing at like the top of your game, it's whatever happened last round happened. There's nothing that you can do to change that, but you can learn from it that if there is any situation that happens like that again in the future, you know the correct path that you should have taken.
No,
like for me, if I re-peak 3 times and I get punished,
yeah, that was
then it's like, okay, I probably shouldn't have done that. But if I re-peak 3 times and I kill 3 people, suddenly there comes all of my confidence and stuff like that. Because that's where I build my confidence, is my speed. That if I can kill a lot of people extremely quickly, I know they are definitely frustrated.
Oh yeah,
because they're sitting there being like, he's just re-peaking, just kill him.
And that builds confidence not only to you but also for your team, because I'm someone that hypes up people that have if they have like a 2K, I'll be like, yo, let's go. Like I'm that type of guy. So I think in a team sense, I guess, like if you get a mad 3K, your team should be like, let's go, Slowye, you're owning it. And I think that helps, I guess.
So with our team, we have a lot of different personalities that like blend really well. So for example, you have me that's really like hyper aggressive, that's very loud, and I joke a lot and I bring a lot of like humor and like friendliness to the team. Then you have, for example, Felix, our coach. He'll bring more of a like, hey guys, let's bring it down to neutral and let's actually like focus on our game and focus hard. Then you get Jono that's also similar to that, but at the same time, our little secret to keeping the morale high and actually just resetting is just by making Doru laugh.
Okay.
He has the most. He's got like 7 different laughs, and all of them are just hysterical. And the thing is, we've literally learned over the years how to trigger each different laugh.
Oh, let's go.
Like if he's drinking something, it's more high pitched. If he's eating something, it's more lower pitched. And the thing is, just a laugh itself is so like contagious that whenever we need to actually just like mentally reset, I just do something. Just to if I can make him laugh, I know the rest of the team is gonna laugh, and then I know that everybody's gonna be happy.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. I really like that. So yeah, mental resets is possible. It's always you never think about it, but like if you look, let's say like the major, for example, right? Like you're watching Navi playing FaZe, or you're watching fucking Heroic play whoever, and then you see like Heroic losing to fucking Apex. How did you lose to them? Anyway, like they're like, let's say 12-3 down, right? And you look at the players, and they just look, completely neutral, distraught. But like, I always think, like, what's going on in their minds? Like, is Kaden sitting there like doubting himself into the dumps, or is like the entry fragger sitting there like he's so mad at his team in a situation like that? How do you get back into it?
So with each of those kind of players, a few of the things that I would say that go through their mind, like as an in-game leader, you don't doubt yourself, you doubt what your teammates think of you.
Okay.
So you sit there and you calling things and nothing's working. Absolutely nothing's working. You wondering if these guys are sitting there and being like, okay, I'm going to just run my head into a wall again and just see what happens kind of thing. That's what goes through your mind. So you looking at everybody, you fist bumping them and you're like, please keep believing in me, trust me, and like, let's get through it. Whereas that's not what everybody else is actually thinking about. The entry fraggers are like, I should have had that kill. If I went like a second earlier or a second later, I should have killed him. Like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have taken that gap. I maybe shouldn't have peeked that AWP twice kind of thing. And then you've got the lurkers that are like, maybe I should have waited an extra second just to kill that guy. So everybody essentially is in their own head of what they are doing wrong, except the in-game leader, because he has himself plus the other 4 members on his team that he has no idea what they are thinking about, and he's trying to also like bring them back up as well. So as an in-game leader, there can never be a time where you don't call anything. Like as long as it doesn't matter what you call. Like if you're looking at your strat list and you sit there and be like, shit, I don't know if any of these are going to work. If you sound confident, be like, guys, okay, we're going to do a B rush here because I know that they're going to 5-man stack B, but our flashes are going to destroy each and every one of them, and we're going to fuck them up. That's suddenly all of that confidence is straight back. Everybody's like, okay, cool, let's do that.
That just made me think again, like, dude, being IGL must be so fucking difficult sometimes. So, like for someone, I don't think I'd ever be able to do it. I've tried to like call a strat and MM, right? Like that's one thing. But like as someone who plays professionally, like to be not only a professional but also having to call a strat, a full-on strat, having confidence in said strat, having confidence in the fact that your team has confidence in you, like that is some mental taxing shit of note, dude. So I commend you and any other IGL that's ever been out there. I commend you for being able to do that, because I don't think I would be able to.
Well, essentially any of the strats and stuff like that was one of the reasons why I kind of dropped the whole IGL thing, was just because instead of doing like defaulting into like a strat, like defaulting into a B exec or A exec or something like that, I would be just a very brawly team that like, okay, I'm gonna go fight people, and if we trade correctly, we should have the site. Like if you send 4 people towards banana and you kill the 2 or 3 people there, you have the site and you can get into like good after plant or post plant positions kind of thing. And that was the way that I approached it, even though it wasn't the way that we were practicing. That was the problem. Okay. And the thing is, obviously, because I was also working, I didn't really have the time to sit there and be like, okay, cool, guys, I've added 3 new defaults, 3 new strats and stuff like that. Like I was literally working from 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then directly after that, it's hope that there isn't load shedding so that I can actually make dinner and then from making dinner or load shedding, it's go into practice.
And you're engaged
So
as
that-
well, right?
Yeah.
And you have to,
And it's also,
go
yeah,
give
spend time with the
spend
missus
time
as
with the
well, yeah.
wife. Holy, yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's
So-
that's very big. That's insane.
So yeah, so for me, I knew that if there was someone in the team that would be able to do it and do it well, it would be Jono, because he's done it obviously in the previous DNMK team that also put up high numbers and stuff like that. So I had no doubt that he would be the one that could take over it and easily. My thing that was difficult for me to do was to not stare at my mini map for 30 seconds every single round to see, okay, who do I need to move here? Who do I need to move there? Where's this guy going? What is the strat that we need to do? Listening to how much utils being used around the map. You know, A's use 3 mollies. That means that there's 3 people there, or they're not going to have any mollies left. So if we do X strat or Y strat, this is what we're going to face. This is what we might not face. So for me, like letting go of that and just focusing on Aaron go kill, that took me a few weeks.
I can imagine.
But eventually, like I got through to it. Like I still do like the odd occasional like let guys just try this or something like that. Like if Jono sits there and he's like, you know, like, oh, what do you guys want to do here or something like that? But like 99% of the time, he already knows exactly what he wants to
maybe
do.
just getting some input.
Yeah, that will be when I call something random. But essentially, like I have the freedom, unless Jono wants to do something specific, like a B rush or something like that. I do have the freedom where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go peek A, kill the egg. I'm gonna go mid. I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go somewhere just to find an early kill. So I do have that freedom, and that's where I have my own little mind game that I have to focus on. It's like, okay, cool. They've been doing X things on X rounds and stuff like that. I need to maybe not play aggressive this round because they might be waiting for me. So that's why like every single different team in the country has a different kind of playstyle. So for example, if I'm playing against maybe Vibin, DNMK, like one of those 2 teams, it means that I can be very free to actually play super aggressive because they also play super aggressive, and I know that they aren't just holding for me, whereas Nixa, for example, are very like passive until a certain point, and then that's when they activate kind of thing. So me doing anything aggressive, they waiting for me, they're holding the angle. If I peek, I die. So like you have to literally learn how to play fast, how to play slow, when to go for early picks, and when to just be a turret posting aside.
Holy crap! It's actually it's so nice to listen to someone who is like that's even making me someone who literally plays this game every day realize that there's a lot more to the game than just W key, because I mean that's how I play. Not only because that's how I like to play, but also because that is what. I'm a streamer. Like people don't want to watch me hold a side, right? But then I think about it, like I've thought to myself, like, what if I've ever look at this will definitely not happen ever, but like 5 years ago maybe, like what if I ask a team if I can join? I don't think I would. I don't know how I would have been able to teach myself that type of discipline in the game, because like the way I play now, like I just jump around, flip my butterfly knife a few times, or make sure that I have my Orb Gungia out from Colonel Sanders, shout out by the way, so like someone in my chat can be like, holy shit, is that a Gungia? Like that's how I listen to someone like you who like you play the game very methodically, and I think that's beautiful to me. Before we get into ESL Katowice, because I'm very excited to ask about Katowice. By the way, I said Katowice a few times now. I'm sorry if it's Katowice, I know, but whatever. Before we get into that, I would just like to throw it over to chat if there's any questions from them or anything that I might have missed. So if there's any questions, please go ahead. Please ask them. Make sure to ask Slowye. And while we're waiting to see if there is someone, when you play MM, right? Like if you're playing MM with your homies, with the boys, do you play any differently, or do you have more fun in MM? Because I've spoken to like if I speak to Frozen, for example, or if I play with Blaze or whichever, right? Like I can clearly see there's a difference in their play style, but is that also just like a mental switch you guys switch, or do you guys like, this is MM, bro, I don't give a fuck, I'm just gonna have fun?
Yeah, so when you're playing in MM, or even just for me, even if I'm playing in gold or something like that, like the games don't matter. The results don't matter. If I lose a game 16-1 in MM, it is what it is, because I'm going to be queuing the next game anyway.
Okay.
Because you don't end on a loss.
Oh, that's such a good mindset, bro. Why?
So,
we don't end on a loss,
like
dude. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. We just lost
You don't end on a loss.
16-1, bro. Yo, guys are going to call like, no. We just lost 16-1. We're playing again.
So essentially when you're playing like matchmaking and stuff, it's the one time that you don't have to worry about making mistakes or anything like that. Like that's why a lot of pro players don't play too much matchmaking, because the more you do it, the more mistakes you make, and then you don't get punished on those mistakes.
So that's a thing?
So it will be the same reason why I think it was like a few years ago when there was like Masters Division and stuff like that, and what's it like, the Masters League and stuff, where Masters it was only like the thing. The problem there was every single person would play their own individual game, and you'd get caught off by the most random things because like the people didn't really care about it. Maybe you had like Elo on the line, but no one really cared too much about that. Like you wanted to just play it because it was good CS. And the problem is that because obviously, you know, some people didn't play as much and stuff, you didn't have as many games. When you don't have as many games, you start adding people from like the lower tiers, and then those people come in and they start introducing their own kind of style. They do some dumb things, and then eventually it gets to the point where like it starts like degrading to a point where if you keep playing like Face It and stuff like that, you're making so many mistakes, and also you getting caught off by things that wouldn't realistically happen in like, especially in a just not even like international, but just for ZA Counter-Strike, you're getting caught off by all of these things where you're like why am I playing this? Like I'm not getting better by doing this. Maybe if I wanted to play CS now, I'm playing it for either to boost my ego, boost my confidence, and then maybe practice getting more into the mindset of like getting into Counter-Strike mindset, because that's the one difference that I noticed, that because I have to work and I have a lot of things that I need to do, I'll get about maybe 40 to 45 hours per 2 weeks on my Steam, which isn't a lot. Whereas when I was initially grinding and stuff like that, before we were supposed to go overseas, and even before like 80k days, I was putting in like 120 hours per 2 weeks, which is almost like 8 hours a day. And when you're putting in that amount of time, you get to like another level of understanding. Clutches become easier, rifling becomes easier, one-tapping becomes easier, because you are like ingrained in the game. Whereas if you've got 40 hours, you might not be as into the game as you would be, kind of thing. But for me, I only need about 40 minutes of warm-up and I'm good. Like even if I haven't played in 2 weeks, so just give me 40 minutes of warm-up and I'm fine.
And then you're good. Okay. We have a question here from Exposed Savage, and he says, how do I join Bravado? I don't know if you're the person to answer this.
Yeah, you need to send Emma an at on Twitter.
This is Emma, Sure, Emma will definitely, she'll help.
And when you at her on Twitter, don't forget to do the shirt giveaway, by the way. This thing's amazingly comfy and stuff.
Bravado, can I please have
shirt giveaway?
Guys, come on.
Just retweet, follow me, follow the boys, follow Bravado.
Get in there. Emma, can we please get a paste of one of the tweets? Actually, no. We're getting Slowye's tweet. Go to Slowye's tweet, go get it, copy and paste it in the chat. You guys can win your very own Bravado shirt. You can get your very own Bravado shirt.
It's a custom shirt as well, and you get your own name on the back.
Your own name? There we go. There you go. Bravado Gaming says, Slowye, do you love me? Now we all know. Of course. We all know who that is.
Of course.
They typed on the wrong account first, and they corrected it after someone mentioned it. So there you go. There you go. Does he not practice with his team against tier 2 teams to practice strats with his team and stuff? I'm guessing what he means by said question is like, do you guys deliberately only practice against? I'm going to use the word tier 1. Do you guys typically practice against tier 1, or do you guys not mind? Like, let's say me and Miyagi, the Any Gifters clan, are like, yo, Bravado, we want to scrim against you. Do you guys like say no to stuff like that, or?
No, so it depends on the night and like the importance of the week, in a sense, because if we have like, let's say if before the ESL qualifiers and stuff like that, we want to make sure that all of our strats work against tier 1 teams, because that's who we are going to be playing against in the qualifier. So that's who we are going to be practicing against. Whereas if we are very like low on like tier 1 scrims and stuff like that, or I wouldn't even say low on tier 1 scrims, like if we want to practice a specific map and there isn't anybody practicing that map except for maybe like tier 2 teams, we don't mind scrimming against anybody. Essentially, if we are playing against a lower tier team, we know that majority of the strats might work just because like we are very in tune with clutching and just like working well together and stuff like that. That even if it goes wrong in the beginning, we'll be able to clutch it to win the round anyway.
Yeah.
So if we are playing against like lower tier teams, we might play a different kind of play style in terms of instead of doing fast-paced like defaults and stuff like that, we might do slower paced ones to either punish them or even just get the dry running in against opponents and stuff like that. Like there's no point if we playing against I don't know, any like tier 2 team and we are throwing all of our strats against them and they all work, but then they don't work against tier 1 teams and we don't know why. They're like, oh, like when we played the tier 2 teams, it was working fine. It's because the tier 1 teams will have the knowledge of, oh, I've seen this before, I know how to counter it, and they counter it. Whereas the tier 2 teams, you know, maybe they either just got into a competitive team or they're working their way up, or let's say they're an individual that's been grinding on Faceit and stuff like that. In Faceit, you don't see a lot of these coordinated attacks. In Faceit, you might see a guy rushing up catwalk and kills UB. Like, you're not going to see 3 guys with specific flashes and smokes and mollies being made to push you around in the sides.
Yeah.
That push you into open positions, that as soon as you are in the open position, you get blinded, you can't go through any smoke, you have no idea where you are, and you just free kills. So that's the thing for us, that if we are going to be playing against tier 2 teams, we know what we are going to be playing against. We're going to respect them. We're not going to literally just like run in and go kill them and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We are going to we practice our patience, we practice our discipline, and we practice like dry running, how we get from point A to point B to point C. Doesn't matter who we're playing against. We'll still do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually, I honestly personally thought that you know, if you do play against lower tier teams, you kind of go in the mindset of like, we're just going to beat this, we're just going to run in. But now it comes back to what you said earlier, like if you fall into said mindset, you might get caught off guard by something that you never thought you would. You lose the game, it becomes a mental thing again, and that could just crumble the whole game, which you don't want.
So essentially, you practice what you preach, and if you're preaching, okay, B-rush every single round, and it doesn't work, what do you do then?
Exactly, you got to adapt from it. Okay, well that's very, very awesome, and it's very, very, once again, very insightful to like learn from it, like from the actual perspective of someone who is playing it day by day. I do want to welcome another very special guest, Mr. Carney in here from Nexa, the boys, who you actually took the last spot from for Katowice. Sorry to bring that up. But I would love to get into that now. Can you explain to me, because I say this and I've said it even when I memecast you guys' games, I say it, I don't know how the fuck your qualifiers work. Because like the one day you guys are winning like 4 maps, and then Nexa wins 7, and now fucking Goliath won 4, but they're like in the final bracket. How do you start? Like, do you sign up on like some Facebook page, or is there like a ESEA page, or is there like some? How does it take me from Dimi messaging? Says, hey, you guys are going to qualify for Katowice, so this is what you need to do till the day you guys qualified. How did it all happen? Take me the whole story. Go ahead.
Okay, so first, I think it might have actually been Felix. Because Felix said to us, because he's also a part of Liquipedia, so he does also see other announcements in terms of like tournaments and stuff like that. He said to us, guys, look, by the way, there's a qualifier for ESL Rotterdam, and there's a South African spot, because that was where we were supposed to start. So not Rotterdam, Hanover. There we go. So we were supposed to start there. We were like, okay, cool, there's going to be a qualifier this year, let's do that. And then the dates were announced, and the ESEA page was announced that we saw it, and then you register for that. Now, essentially, I'm not exactly 100% sure how ESL does it. I don't know if they do. I don't think they do it off HLTV rankings, but there is a type of ranking system that they
like
use.
An invite thing.
Not really invite, but it's more. I think they do it according to the ESL. Sorry, not ESL. The ESEA like standings. That if whoever won the most recent. Whoever won the most recent like ESEA season, or they'll look at the current main standings and they'll see, okay, you know, BVD, Nexa, blah, 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 blah. And then that's kind of how they will seed the bracket. So then from there, because I mean, if they just randomly seed the bracket and they just throw people to the wolves, you can get like us and Nexa playing each other in the first kind of playoff game. Okay. And that's not something you want to do. So they would essentially do like number 1 against number 8, number 2 against number 7, 6, 5, 4,
Okay.
until eventually it gets to like number 1 would verse number 4 in the semi-final, and then number 3 would verse number 2 in the other semi-final, and that's how it would lead to the final.
Okay. And then, so is it like a 1 weekend thing, or is this like a build up over months of games? I mean, obviously, if you have 8 teams, I mean, that's 8 games that need to be played, and mostly they get played on separate days.
So, for this one, it was played over 4 days in total.
Okay.
The first one was the open qualifier, where as many teams register, that's who qualifies. So, if you went top 4 in that, it means that you qualified for the closed qualifier. The closed qualifier is essentially like, it's not a separate qualifier. It just means that it's like the top 4 teams. Whoever was top 4 in that qualified to play in the bracket.
Okay.
And majority of the time, whoever you were supposed to play in the semi-final game is going to be who you were going to play. So, for example, Vibin was our next game in the open qualifier, so we were going to play them in the closed qualifier semi-final. So that's kind of how it went. That it was the first 2 days to do the open qualifier, but I don't think that there was actually enough teams. So like they'll do like a round of 128 to 64, 32, etc. But we obviously don't have 128 teams playing. So for us, we played, I think it was 2 best of ones, and then we qualified for the closed qualifier. And then from there, we played against Vibin. We beat Vibin 2-1, I believe, or 2-0. And then we versed Nixa in the upper bracket final, where I believe they 2-0'd us. Into the lower brackets final. Vibin then beat Goliath, and then we beat Vibin, and then we beat Nixa in the final.
I remember, and you don't have to say anything about it, but I remember people being so toxic about you guys, not you guys winning, but I remember people being toxic from both sides when you guys won. And they didn't fucking understand, like, why does Bravado go through and not, why does Nixa not get another, like, stuff like that. And was it who tweeted? Yeah, someone tweeted something, and I was like, "This."
Why was there no advantage?
Yeah, someone tweeted something about like, why the fuck can we not just celebrate the fact that Bravado is going fucking overseas, right? Like, yes, obviously we want everyone to do well. If that was the case, fucking we would. If we had a big ass scene, we had to have Nixa and Bravado go over, right? Like, for example, I'm just using 2 names. I'm very biased to both teams because I love every single player on both those teams, 100%. But people on Twitter were so fucking. I'm saying it, so fucking retarded. They don't understand half the shit that goes through it. Yes. Maybe they won more games or what the fuck, but in the end, you guys won what was needed to be won, and you guys fucking qualified. Why be toxic about it? That's like the one thing I fucking despise of the scene. People just can't let people have a good fucking thing.
The problem with that is it comes down to, like, my theory was that there hasn't been enough lands and stuff like that. Like, if you look at, I would say, 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, literally all of the top teams knew each other and extremely well because they had been playing Counter-Strike against each other for years.
Yeah.
You had Tools, Goals.
It was all the same homies,
What's it? Hadley, Convict, I guess. Hadley, Custom, Tuckbok. You had all of them that knew each other on the server and off the server and stuff like that. And they were all like friends. The problem is that since COVID hit, there wasn't any lands of like top 8 teams
at all.
And then a lot of new people did come into the scene where they didn't ever have that experience of like, okay, I'm going to talk shit online. And then suddenly you get there, the guy's bigger than you. Obviously, no one ever fights on land because everybody says like, oh, I'm going to blitz him. But it doesn't happen.
No, classic.
But essentially, like, when you go to the land, no one calls you out on the shit that you said. That's the problem. Like, even now that when it was Comic-Con last year, you had pretty much the 4 teams. You had like Black Lamb, who they were to themselves. You had Goliath to themselves. You had BVD to themselves, and you had Nixa to themselves. There was not really any meshing. Like, you would maybe like greet each other and stuff like that, but that's as deep as it would go.
No, there wouldn't be not like homies hanging out afterwards.
Even with majority of like big LAN events, there was also a lot of organizations where maybe you would even go after whoever won, lost, or anything like that. You would go to either Spur or Hooters or something like that. You would get literally drunk off your ass, and then everybody would be chorms.
Yeah.
because everybody, like, you would spend time with each other. That the problem is now that there's no one doing that. Everybody's in their own little discords,
Own bubbles.
with their little friends, and then when they complain to their friends are the ones that go onto Twitter, and it's like,
Make
yeah,
sure.
no, they should have had this, they should have had that. How did this happen? What is the seeding and stuff like that? And then that's when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I do feel, and the fact that we as a scene as small as South Africa don't like. I remember seeing, was it Nico or Simple? Someone lost a major, and that night they posted a photo like, okay, we lost against them. We're gonna go. We're having some drinks. It's the after party. Like, I'm still gonna fucking celebrate their win. Like, GG's, they won, right? So what I would like to ask you, do you you're saying now like everyone is on their own, right? Do you think it would be better if everyone was? I'm not saying everyone should be friends. Obviously, I would never expect that. But I personally feel like that would be better. Let homies just be friends. Like imagine if the Bravado Nexa team, after maybe a big ass game, Nexa wins, Bravado wins, who the fuck cares? You guys all hang out after. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Would you say that that's something you wish for the scene, or do you not really?
Yeah, no, definitely. Because the thing is, like, there's a lot of good people in the scene, but there's also, like, obviously, like, you know, like every other scene, there's always going to be like internal drama between one or two people, and then those two people don't really want to spend time with each other, and if they're in opposite teams, you know, they kind of stray away from each other.
Yeah.
So it depends on the type of people, but I mean, initially depending on the team, but I mean, we also had at Comic-Con and stuff like that, we had all the different members of like all the different teams like come and greet us, chill with us, stuff like that. I mean,
I remember
we were boot camping with Black Lamb while we were also scrimming against like Goliath and stuff.
No.
So we would have Goliath in the afternoon, or like Goliath at night, and then Black Lamb in the afternoon, where we would be able to scrim both of them. So there was never any bad blood or anything like that. I think it's just a massive amount of testosterone mixed with like, there's no time that we are actually sitting to get to know each other. There's no, okay, cool, let's go, like, you know, let's go smoke hubbly outside, or let's go have a guai, or let's go have a drink or something like that. There was none of that. There hasn't been any lands for that to happen. Like, you had Comic-Con, but Comic-Con was, it's just a shitload of people there, you know.
It was generally not the event. I personally, I don't think it's the event that should have a CS LAN. I feel like Rage should have had a CS LAN, like a big, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's why, like, the best thing that you would want is like an 8, like, obviously, you know, like Nick Bart says it a lot, like, have a 8-man LAN where it's literally just the top 8 teams, they qualify, well, like whoever qualifies pretty much, but the top 8 teams, they go to LAN, they play against each other in a 3-day thing, and then the finals is on the Sunday, and that Sunday night everybody gets slammed. Monday morning people fly home and stuff like that, and then that's how it should be.
That sounds awesome.
Because the problem is now that as soon as people leave, especially like the young kids and stuff, when they have their parents at the event that they are playing at, and as soon as they lose, they're not going to chill with their team. They don't want to. They literally just lost with them. They want to go home. They want to maybe, I don't know, go watch anime. They want to go have a shower, and they want to just chill and maybe even decompress, because not everybody is as extroverted as they were.
Yeah.
COVID kind of made a lot of people introverted.
Yeah, I have to agree.
And that's why, just because of that alone, you know, people sit there and be like, Mom, you know, I really want to go home. I don't really want to stay anymore. There's no reason for me to play here, and I can watch the finals on the stream tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean, that's again very, very well said, and I have to agree that what Nick Bart said, I think that's a fucking great idea. I really hope that somehow happens. I would suck a fat dick, dude, if I can work with Bravado and Nexa, or with Bravado and fucking Vibin or whoever, and like, I would love to be part of a big CS event. And the reason why I'm saying me is because I'm a casual person, and you've watched my meme cast. I don't take this shit seriously. I do it to not only support the homies, but for even the people that are watching, or maybe if they're watching the VOD afterwards of like them getting a crazy frag, just to have a good time, right? Oh crap! Sorry, something just opened on my screen. Just to have a good time, you know. So, and I would love to do like an event like that. I wish I had the money, or like I had the investment to like have a HenricoM Invitational. Yes, that sounds super fucking cringe saying it out loud, but like for me, I would make it so fun, and I would like literally have like post-game interviews with both like the winners and the losers, and let them just banter it out, you know, like have it be super chill, just so we can, as you say, like maybe just get to know each other a little bit more. And on a LAN setting, the way that Nick Bards, I think that is fucking I think that is a great idea. I really hoping. I really hope that happens. Yes, Zassia, cringe invitational. I love that. I love that. Before we just continue, Cloudsy asked earlier, what does it feel like to play with someone on your team that aced in a pistol round against Team Liquid?
Well, I've never forgotten about it, and I hear about it every single day.
Who brings it up the most? Who brings it up the most? Him or?
It's normally where Jono says, "Okay, guys, who's getting the P250 between Voljan and Kian?" Or sometimes myself, and then he'll sit there and be like, "I don't know. We should maybe ask the person that got an ace against Liquid."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you guys now qualified for Katowice. That's awesome. Yeah. So what's next? What's happening next? What is now the road forward? You don't have to give too specifics, obviously, but what is now the road forward? What is the mental? What are you guys focusing on now? Like you said earlier, this isn't a holiday. Like yes, it's a trip overseas, but you guys don't look at it as a holiday. Obviously, you guys are gonna, I guess, boot camp, like you said earlier. But what happens now? What's the next week looking like?
So initially, because of the time frame that they gave us, so from qualifying to leaving for the event, they've kind of like squished it into a month. And normally when you're applying for like any Schengen country, you kind of want like 3 weeks just to apply for it and stuff. And because of the specific countries and stuff, some of them are slightly more like booked than others kind of thing. So you have to try and find a time that you can have your appointment to get your Schengen visa just to leave. So it has been a bit tight, but we have gotten getting everybody sorted in that kind of sense. It has been a bit tight, but essentially we are planning on leaving on the 1st of June.
Okay.
We were going to leave on the 31st, but just to be safe that everybody has their visa, we were going to be leaving on the 1st of June.
Okay.
From leaving on the 1st of June, we will probably arrive on the Saturday morning. Then from there, it will be arrive at the event, and we're going to be playing at I think it's the King Ewan Esports Creational Center or something, or Sports Center or something like that, where it's a proper esports venue that have like their own built-in hotel rooms, including an entire boot camp room and stuff. So shout out to them because they've also helped us out a lot with that.
That's awesome.
So we're going to be flying to Warsaw first. That's where the place is, and then the day before, I believe we'll be taking a train ride to Katowice, where we'll have a little bit of a look around, explore Katowice a bit, and then we start the event on the 9th. So we'll have a decent boot camp. It's not going to be the most it's not going to be the longest one, but I think for majority of us, where this will be like the first time that any of us, I believe, other than maybe Kian, who played in Rotterdam, but majority of us going to Europe to play against European teams.
But this is your first international appearance, right?
No, so this is mine and Voljan's second.
Okay.
And it will be Doru and Marchand's first.
Okay.
And then it will be Kian's second as well. Okay. Because my first one was DreamHack Delhi.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay.
Yep.
So what is... So you get to Katowice. You guys don't. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to understand. Because remember, I just watched Katowice and I see, okay, Thursday there's some games and then Friday on stage. That's how it works. So you guys aren't obviously, or maybe you are. Are you guys playing on stage? Is that confirmed, or is this? Do you guys now have to qualify there?
No.
Like,
so it's
that's the
stage.
Challenges. Okay, so you guys are going to be playing.
So it's not I don't think it's not like a stadium or anything like that. I believe it's a it's a studio event.
Okay.
So we'll be playing within a studio, probably just 4 sets of 5 PCs each.
Okay.
To my knowledge, the setup is that it's 2 groups of 4. You have to win 2 games to get out of groups.
Okay,
and then you go straight into semi-finals and finals, and you're done, kind of thing.
Do you have any idea which teams you'll be facing that side?
Yeah,
any big names?
So to my knowledge, we were playing against it was VP, ENS, 9Z, Ecstatic that beat Big not yesterday, the day before, and then I think I'm missing 1 or 2 teams, and then it's Fours and Pain. And then the one team from North America, that Party Astronauts team.
That is a stacked lobby, my guy.
Yeah, so the three main ones that would probably be the hardest would probably be Force, VP, and ENTS. But at the same time, like they've also been showing a lot of question marks at this moment in
Yeah,
time.
especially
You
with
know,
the
like
major.
VP haven't announced their new fifth. ENTS looked like they were going to get out of the into the playoffs
Yeah,
for
and they
the
didn't even,
major, but
yeah.
then they didn't. And also the previous two events before then as well, they
Yeah.
didn't play the best. I think it was like IEM Sydney that they crashed out of. So yeah, there's a lot of question marks at the moment in all of these teams. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, we either have to play all of these teams or at least some of
The
them. So
best, you're
it
gonna
doesn't
have
matter.
to
Yeah,
get to the
we're
best,
gonna
to be
have
the
to.
best, you
Yeah,
have to play the best.
exactly. To win this event, we have to beat pretty much everybody. So our goal, our first step for us is getting out of groups, and then from there, it's just improve
As much as
series
you
by
can.
series. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know how to ask you this without. I'm not trying to sound condescending, but I'd love to get your. 'Cause I feel like your mental is just. It's in such a good place in the sense of like the game. How do you feel about, like, are you confident in you guys? Is there parts of you that's like, this is going to be a tough. Like, you obviously know you're about to climb a mountain, obviously, but like you as a person. I'm not asking you as bravado Slowye. I'm asking you as just Aaron. Like, are you probably not scared, but like, do you think you guys can do this, even though it'll be a big challenge? Or is this like one of those, you are looking at this as a very, very big learning opportunity and just a big opportunity overall?
So for myself, when me and Fuljan initially went to DreamHack Delhi, we played against Hellraisers, and then it was Pro 100 at the time, which was like Yekindar, World Edit, Nickelback, and all of them. So we played against some pretty good players there. But how I played then, like compared to how I'd play now, will be two different people, just because of the learning experience that I had in ATK. In ATK, I covered a lot of fundamentals that I was lacking in terms of doing a warm-up ritual that not a lot of people do. Being mentally prepared for each game that I'm going into, knowing who I'm playing against, knowing what I need to do against each team, how I need to play against them. So the difference is now that, one, yes, it is a very big learning opportunity. Like for us, it's going to be grabbing as much experience as we can and like run with it. But at the same time, we see that the quality of teams that we are there, and we're not going there just for the experience. We are going there to test how good we are, like how much South Africa is trying to close the gap. Because essentially any information that we get there from scrims, from officials, anything like that, it's something that we can bring back and like reinforce going forward.
Potentially knowledge share.
So for me individually, I've been to China where I coached the lead pro female team. I've been to DreamHack Delhi with the Goliath team. But this will be the first time where I actually have the opportunity to scrim and play against the people that I've looked up to for years. Like, we also got very lucky enough that we got put into pretty much the premium scrim group with all of the best teams, Astralis, Heroic, and all of them. So we might have the opportunity to scrim some of the people that we see on streams and at events every single day. And that's essentially what I'm there for. Like, I'm not going there to sit there and be like, oh, cool, I'm playing against Cadian or I'm playing against a. I'm going there to fuck them up. Yeah. I'm going there to leave my name on their ass. That's what I'm going there for.
I think that's a very, very, very good way of looking at it, because I feel like if I was in your position, I would be scared shitless, right? But obviously I didn't have the same type of mental, because I've never been a professional player, so I wouldn't have that mental. But like, for someone from the outside, I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to be scared shitless, and then I'm about to fucking AWP against the Vice, and the Vice is like, I'll give you the best AWPer, and then like you said, now you're there to fucking leave your name in their mouths. And I mean, that would be the fucking, imagine there's like a stat afterwards where, you went against the Vice and you beat him fucking 8-5 in AWP duels. Like that's something that's gonna stick. It might not stick immediately, but it's gonna be there. And so let's say you guys win this. Let's say you guys win this whole event, or let's say you guys get to semis. What does that mean? Does that mean you guys get invited to something else, or does that just hopefully open more doors?
So the only way for us to get invited for anything else is if we win the whole thing. If we win the whole thing, we then qualify for, I believe it's ESL Pro League, for the actual Pro League for Europe. So then that would mean that we get the ESL Pro League spot where we will be playing against like Navi, Heroic, and all of them in the like similar to what's ATK and like Complexity are doing at the moment. We would be joining them in that kind of feat. So
that's pretty huge.
I forgot what else I was gonna say now, but essentially, like the way that I see playing against people better than me now is it helps me get into another drive of like focus. The same way that if you're playing in a matchmaking game and you're playing against maybe like a cheater that isn't just spin botting, maybe he's just wall hacking. If you hard focus against that guy and you want to beat him, that level of focus that you leave that game with and you go into the next matchmaking game, suddenly you're dropping 40, 50, 60 kills because of how focused you are.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same thing that when Detrony came back and he started the team again with Flexi and Aiden and all of them. When I saw him join the server, once again, I said, like, I'm going to make this guy my bitch. I'm going to literally smack him around as hard as I can just so that he knows who I am. Not egotistical or anything like that. But for me, it's like my own personal goal that like, I don't want to be one of those AWPers that goes into a server and just vanishes, disappears, doesn't do anything and leaves. Like my goal there is to leave a mark as hard as possible, and then that's it.
And they'll remember you. And I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, now you're playing for Bravado. I mean, you've clearly left an impression somewhere. Because there must have been like some random Dust 2 game at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and you just absolutely fucking dicked on Demi, and he's like, God, I'm gonna sign him. It's genuinely so sick to like hear this from your perspective. I mean, I've spoken to Mistem before, and I genuinely love and appreciate most of the pro players in our scene because it is so small. And I mean, and this is probably going to be sound egotistical, but it isn't. I'm the resident CS:GO guy in South Africa. If you want to just watch someone do dumb shit, like, and I feel like I've been very welcoming, especially to a lot of the pro players if they want to come join for an MM or if they just want to come talk shit in my chat, like by all means. So learning or listening to you from, because we all know you're a bit of a troll. With your dry humor, but like, you know, getting to talk to you in the main sense of like, you know, what goes on in your mind, because the way that you look at a game is completely different to me. It is completely different to maybe how Blaze would look at a game, or Lightning, or Daru, or whoever. So it's genuinely, I really enjoy learning from you, I guess, in that sense. If there's something you God, dude, this is like that where you see yourself in 5 years type of question, but it's not that. I want to ask you, like, for someone who's new in the scene, maybe like some kid that's 16 years old, maybe watching this interview or maybe seeing this, and he wants to become a pro, what would you tell them? What would you say focus on? Because I feel like a lot of them just go into AMAPs all day and they're like, I'm going to be the best aimer and that's how I'm going to win, but we all know that's not it.
To be honest, I would say the biggest thing is just your mentality to the game. Like, you can grind bots for, you know, the entire day or something like that, but at the same time, the bots don't shoot back. There's no tilt factor that you have to be ready for or anything like that. The way that you will not only encourage your teammates, but also play better is if you just, obviously it's going to sound dumb because, I mean, everybody does it, but don't tilt. Like, if you can reinforce your mind and make yourself like mentally ready that, like, if I get 16-1 today, 16-0'd, it is what it is, I go next. Because I mean, it's happened to us many times where we've lost against a team badly and we were like, how the hell did that happen? It's okay. Next game, we've got the next 2 maps, let's bring it back. So you can have, like, having the determination to also like sit there late at night, you know, maybe you just played a few gold games or something like that, but don't be satisfied with just playing the gold games. Like, for me, when I was trying to learn more and more and more Counter-Strike, like, sure, I used to shoot, I think, 1,000 bots a day, but only just because I didn't want to become one of those people that shoots like 8,000 or 9,000, 16,000 bots a day. Like, just, you know, I'm at that age now where if I did that, I probably would have had Coppelton by now. So at the moment, it's like, do the mechanical grafting, but at the same time, do like do the research, find things that will make you better. Because I'm pretty sure on my Google account, or my YouTube account, I still have at least like 30 old YouTube videos where it was like from Steel, from iBuyPower at the time, where it's like, how do I IGL? How do I manipulate rotations, util usage, and all of these things. And I would watch these things from beginning to end. And literally, as I'm done with that, I would probably go into a retake or a public game or even another gold game with that in my mind, where I'm like, okay, in this game, I'm going to try and use my util efficiently. I'm not going to just throw the same molly every single round for 15 rounds. Because if you do that, you aren't creating anything different. All you're doing by doing the same routine every single round is you are making yourself predictable. If you throw the same molly 15 rounds in a row, and I call that you've done that on the third round, and if I know like the boundaries that I have to push for that molly, majority of the time I'm gonna catch you in situations where you're gonna be like, oh shit, what the hell is he doing there? What's it? They did a flash through my molly because I had a bad spawn or something like that. Like, don't be consistent, but don't be I think it's content. Don't be content with your routine.
Yeah, you should
always change things up. Like, change roles, change util, change positions where you are sitting. I think it's a Liege, it might have been, where if you watch any of his demos, he doesn't do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Even if people didn't see what he did, he will do something different in that round. And that's the thing. If you
this is
by
so
doing
insightful.
that, you literally create. There's like, if you do something different for 15 rounds in a row, and let's say 10 rounds in a row it worked, you now have 10 things in your own individual strat book that works. Now all you need to do is add another 5 for those last rounds. Eventually you start getting to this thing where you'll know, I can't play super aggressive against pistols because they can overwhelm me. Yeah. Oh, it's a pistol round. I learned this last time. I'm going to sit in CT and just hold them while they swing out.
Okay,
and you start learning, you learn what works against what. And then all it comes down to is noticing economy and then noticing, I would say, like patterns and stuff. But
yeah, because if players do the same thing over, or like if someone does something that's like, you notice, like if I'm playing an MM on Mirage, like fucking Piet Gerry is swinging top mid every single round. That's a pattern that you can... So I get that. I have to agree. Emma just said Henrico looks like he's sitting in a coaching session. It does feel like that. Like I'm learning. I genuinely feel like I'm learning so much from you. And you do actually do coaching as well.
Yeah. So I do coaching because I'm just a bit bored with my job.
Shout out to Twitter right now, mods. Come on, get this man some. If you guys want the best advice, get your boy Slowye.
Yeah. So I would say like the number one trap that people don't realize, for I would not even say a lot of AWPers, but just a lot of people in general, is like the number one trap would be on Mirage. If you're an AWPer, where's the first place you go?
I go mid.
Exactly.
Fuck. But like, yeah, so you want to be unpredictable.
You should be going ramp, you should be going palace, you should be going con, you should be asking for a flash over con, you should be going catwalk, you should be going B. There should never be a time, because I know I fall into that trap. I fall into that trap literally so many times in scrims and officials, where you literally just brain turns off, and I will go into window 8 out of the 15 rounds, and in those 8 rounds that I go window, I get smoked off, and then I'm sitting behind the smoke for like 4-7. Like, exactly.
That's true. That's like fucking.
If these guys are consistently smoking like the mid cross, where you can't see them cross to the boxes, there's 2 different things that you can do. You can either go to con, where you can see under the smoke if they try and cross, or you can do the cat jump and see them cross through the smoke. So it's like, why am I even going into window?
I can't make the cat jump, unfortunately.
You got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, but
but at the same time, that's something you got to go and practice.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. What would you say is too? I think someone asked that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm imagining stuff, but I'm just. What do you think? Are you ever too old to go pro?
It depends on your definition of pro. Like, if you're talking about, I would say, like, if you're like 28 and you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to become simple. You have like 2 to 3 years to like pass him just to maintain it.
Yeah.
So that's the way that you got to see it. Like in South Africa, it's never too late. Like I mean, if you look at the damage control guys, they were playing competitively like top 8 CS until they were all like 33, 34, even some of them like 35. So I don't like, it just depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to go hard competitive, if you want to be the best, it's just about like not being complacent, not being in a team that's like, okay, cool guys, we'll do one scrim a week and we'll do one official week and then that's it. Like, no, if you want to be the best, you join a team that's like, okay, cool guys, we're grinding. Like when we were playing in 80K, we wanted to be the best. We would start at 4:00 in the afternoon and we would end at 11.
Just scrims and practice.
That was ours. Scrims, pracs, dry runs, individual work, demos, anything that we could do to fill that time, we were doing.
Holy crap. Okay.
That is how hard we were working for that.
Well, you're never too old, but you're going to have to work your ass off. Can you ask him if they have like a designated person that throws smokes and then one that mollies, or like, is it whoever wants to throw what? Okay, so I'm guessing what he's asking, do you guys have like a designated util person, or is it... I don't know if the word expected is the right word, but is it kind of expected to have everyone know all util?
So that's kind of where the individual strats come in, because then you can predetermine who needs to throw what. So for example, if it's, I don't know, me, you, and the dream team, we're all busy playing in a, I don't know, like an official or something like that, and we need to play, or we want to make a new strat. Now we'll sit there and be like, okay, cool. Who is the AWPer? Because you're not going to make the AWPer run out as fast as possible when the smokes are going out, like instantly. You're going to want to have 2 people that are super fast, have really fast aim, maybe even with like a high sense, that are going to literally just follow each other across the smokes, across the flashes and stuff, just so that they can trade. Then you're going to have like a general... we're going to have like a general support player who will be the person... Sorry. You have a general person who will be throwing majority of the util. Like he's not going to be designated to that, because there's going to be times where maybe he can't afford the util and someone else needs to throw it.
Or he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So there is certain situations where it will be other people, but when you have a set strat that you have developed or copied or anything like that, every person will have their specific util that they are going to be using. This person is going to stand here, he throws this smoke, he throws that smoke. This person over here throws this molly, throws that flash. Both of these guys run this specific route because of where the flashes are going to land. We want to make sure that the flashes are landing where they don't have to look. If they aren't looking at the flashes and they don't get blind, but anybody looking towards them is looking at them and the flashes land behind them, they're going to get blind and it gives us an advantage.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why you wouldn't want... If you're doing like a contact play where you're just walking up ramp on Mirage, you're not going to have your B player doing it first. Because suddenly, like if you're playing at like a high level team and you can see that B player gets AWPed instantly, you can sit there and be like, that's the B player. That means that their CTB players can just take the whole of B for free.
Yeah.
Because they know that that's the guy that goes there every single round. Because he hasn't broken his... routine any round, he's suddenly on A and he dies A. Guys, it's probably going to be an A hit.
Yeah, you should know that so that's why it's, because I know that especially in pro players or in pro plays, people always look at who they kill or who killed them. Which is something like in MM, you never do that. Like you just see the little lighting, like, oh, cool, I killed someone. You know, like you don't care if it was I killed Blaze or Slowye. You know, it doesn't matter. But like in pro players, they always I've seen it even if you watch the major and they have like the player cams. The moment they die, they look up and they're like, oh my god, okay, I died to the. It must be he's probably rotated or something like that. Like it's immediately. So I think that makes a lot of sense if you put it in that way. And another question that I was going to ask, but Zassi beat me to it, is do you guys like create set strats against specific teams, or like I guess you can ask it the same way, like, do you guys get a read for the game in like the first 4 rounds and you're like, hey, cool, these guys are hyper aggressive, let's do these strats? Do you guys have like certain strats set out for play styles, or do you guys have set strats for certain teams, or do you guys have like a general way of playing and then you just kind of adapt with it?
So essentially you'll have your different paced defaults where you are trying to get, like, let's say if I'm playing against a brand new team that I've never played against before, For the first few rounds, I'll be doing defaults because one, I need to see if they're a super aggressive team or if they're a passive team. If they're a passive team, it might mean that I can walk up a lot deeper because they're not going to be like right in my face.
No.
But if they're an aggressive team, it means that I need to be more reserved and I need to wait for them and I need to expect them. So the defaults are there for you to understand the people that you are playing against better, but it's also to take certain control to see how they react. And once you know how they react and their rotations, because sometimes you can also hear them rotating. And then also, and then from there, it would be your set pieces that will counter certain situations. They won't counter teams. They'll counter maybe how a team does certain things, but it won't counter like, okay, cool, we have an anti-Nixa strat. Like we won't, like that doesn't work.
Also,
the thing is, the chances of them doing, the chances of them doing anything in that round that might like constitute that strat working is the main problem there. So a lot of the times, like maybe let's say for example, if you see if a team is like double AWPing, if they've got 2 AWPs, you can then have a strat for, okay, they've got 2 AWPs. All we have to do is do an execute, throw proper flashes, get the AWPs off the angles, and once we have the bomb down, it's very hard for 2 AWPs to retake a site.
Okay. So
that would be like the idea that you would have.
So essentially, you have, I guess you like you say, you see how the team is playing. If it's a new team, for example, you see how the team works, and then you kind of have your strats built around that. So you don't have like specific strats for, like you said, anti-Nix or anything, which makes sense. Because I feel like that'd be very specific. That'd be very, very specific if you're like if you have strats set to like beat Nixa or fucking Goliath or whichever. So yeah, that's also that. It makes sense that you guys have it planned around that way. So Carmen says, ask Slowye to show our band photo. What the fuck is a band photo?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think she's talking about her new shirts and stuff that she got.
Carmen's on something, dude. She's on something. Can you show us show your cat? Dude, Emma's such a troll, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh, look, kitty, dude. God, I want a cat so bad. I'm doing a subathon, starting a subathon on Sunday, and now they want me to have one of my goals as to get a cat. So I'm still debating that one, because like for some reason my chat believes that they get to decide things for me, which is not how it works. But yeah. Anyway, moving on from that.
If they donate, that's how it works.
Why are you giving them power, bro? This is my stream, dude. What are you doing? Hey, wallets up, baby.
As soon as you hit wallets up, they were like, oh, okay.
We got it now.
Yeah, I'm getting him to shave his hair.
I'm doing something. The biggest donator gets to pick my next tattoo. So we'll see how that goes. Because I already have one that one of my viewers did. I got his name and his emblem like tattooed, which is a pretty cool thing. But yeah, now I'm doing it again, and I'm regretting it already. But it's fine. So yeah, it's been really sick talking to you. So I would like to give it over to chat one last time. If there's any questions, maybe anything you guys want to bring up or would like him to talk about, please do so now. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the night, the evening? You got any cool plans? You're going to go chill with the fiance? You guys got any games coming up anytime soon, or is it a bit quiet now?
I don't know. We are supposed to have. I don't know if we were supposed to have like VS playoffs or something like that. I can't really remember, but I don't think there's any officials coming up soon. But essentially, for the rest of my night, I'm probably going to be playing with my cats and then making dinner for the fiance. And then we need to go to the petrol station so we can go get gas for our gas heater because it's cold.
Absolute legend. We got one here from Emma. I'm totally not tired of Emma yet, by the way. Like, I don't know if you are, but I'm totally not tired of it yet. Slowye, should I use the same one-way molly 10 rounds in a row? Asking for a friend. So for some context, I know this one-way molly.
I mean, you can.
Have you seen my one-way molly, bro?
Which one?
The one in Mirage where you shoot out the vents, you throw the molly and it lands like on the edge and you can peek in the molly. So what I do
I try and throw the same thing, but mine hits the edge of the little window where you break the vent and then it blocks off the B players.
So I do it 10 rounds in a row and then I keep dying and then I blame everyone else but myself, but I do it over and over. Are you currently wearing the jersey that's being given away on the socials right now? What a great question. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And there is the tweet that anyone can get. Once again, I have been begging. Hopefully, I'll just go remember to tag your friends, boys. Go tag your homies. You can get your very own shirt, dude. Miyagi asked me, what is my warm-up routine? My warm-up routine is going live and queuing MM. Does it hurt your eyes when he plays? Because I know like CSGO pros sit inside their monitors, and if it helps being so close. I think that is a very subjective question. It differs from person to person. But since you are wearing glasses, I think that's a...
I think mine is, well, the reason why I got glasses was just because my far sights and my close sights got really like affected with the different games that I've been playing. Because obviously when you're playing like FPS games and you play obviously too much like I have, you get this false depth perception in your game. So when you look at your screen, you're like, oh, this map is massive. I'm playing World of Warcraft. Like, look how massive this thing is, and you can see things, but it's fake depth. And the thing is that affects your eyes. So that's why for me, my far distance isn't good, but my close distance is fine. But I'm wearing the glasses now just to help me with the close distance and far distance at the same time.
Okay.
But generally, I know that a lot of pros sit really close to their monitor just so that you can actually, well, this is my thing, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of pros do it just so you can actually see. I would say, I don't want to say like see more pixels, but I mean, a lot of them sit close to their screen so they can see their crosshair like more accurately to where the guy's head is, kind of thing. Where if you see that far, like if you're dueling someone across the map, it's not as easy, but if you like right in front of your screen,
that might be
easier to see someone closer. Yeah.
Looking at like someone like your Kendall play, I'm like, how in God's green fuck are you seeing anything in that game? When he has to like check his map, he has to like turn his head like 174 degrees. Like to me that doesn't make sense, but I mean he's obviously used to that.
Hey, we got
Ditchney in chat, dude.
It's literally the what's it called? It's like the Iron Man tweet. It's like how do you see these things? It's like I turn. It's like, it sounds exhausting.
I just said, yeah, exactly. Ditchney's in chat. He said, look at the mega Bravado branded special package is coming in good time. I promise. Thank you, Ditchney. I always got to skimp. You know me, bro. You know me. All the love to you, Ditchney. Thank you for letting me do this, by the way. What is your warm up routine? Ask Miyagi. That's actually, I would love to know you, because you said earlier like your warm up routine is completely different to what it used to be. So what is it now? What is your warm up routine now?
So for my warm up routine, but this I can't even remember how I found it. I think I was listening to Summit 1G's racing
playlist. Yeah, go to playlist. Yeah. I got you. So go to playlist.
I put that on the one day and I put it on loud, and I was like, you know what, my team's irritating me. Let me just listen to this and just DM. And I went into the warm-up server, like the DM one, and I literally just sat there, like I think it was like 40 minutes to the official. And I remember just sitting there and I got like so hyper-focused listening to this, and it just got to the point where I was like, I feel like so in control of like everything right now. I think I dropped like 42 kills in that game or something like that. I was like super focused in the game. And then I was like, you know what, that might just be luck. Let me try it again. I did the same thing again and I dropped 30, and I kept doing the exact same thing over and over again. And it literally just puts me in a position where I feel super comfortable. I've put enough time for the day in that, but at the same time, I wouldn't recommend DMing 40 minutes before every single matchmaking game and official, or like if you have like one scrim and then you have a gap and another scrim, like don't over DM, because then for me, I just become like my eyes become very like fatigued and stuff like that. So if I DM for 40 minthat that's me for the day. I don't DM past 40 minutes. Even if I do it in the morning, I won't DM before the game.
Okay, so yeah, just a quick little DM. Okay, I mean that sounds. I mean, I feel like a lot of people just DM. And my one of the biggest issues I have is literally like I wake up, go live, and then I hop into an MM game, and then I get upset with myself if I can't hit a shot. And then everyone in my chat's like, "You didn't even warm up." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need warm up because I'm the best." That's my ego speaking. But then I know I should probably start warming up. I've been trying, but it's just so fucking boring. But I mean,
it's when you get into it, you feel a lot better. Like for me, I have 4 stages of DM. I have that, okay, I'm still warming up. This feels very weird. Then it goes into the second stage where it's like, oh, okay, I'm hitting some shots. I'm warming up. Then it gets to that third stage where it's like, God, I'm shit at this game. And then the fourth stage is like, okay, cool. I'm ready
I'm
to
content
fuck
now.
anybody up.
There we go. I definitely think I should try and do the warm up a little bit more, and definitely now with I sorry for the doom, guys. There was a spider looking at me, and he was a big boy.
Thought you were just trying to get me out of here.
Fuck no. I would sit here and talk to you all night if I could. Any last time question from chat? Zassi asked, if you turn 113, are you a teenager? It's like the worst.
It's like 2 years off my age.
Yeah, he's 111. Come on, Zassi. He's still in his prime. Can't you see this, dude? Can't you see this? Do you play headshot DM or normal DM?
Just normal. Like, I literally just, whatever the, obviously it's the warm-up server that we have, but literally whatever's happening in there, like the AWP one isn't really the best if you aren't an AWPer. Like if you are an AWPer, it's not bad just to warm up a little bit, but doing like USP headshots, and then, what was the other one? And there's like headshots, AK, and then normal just rifle. I think the time that gets me the most into like the mindset is after the AWP DM when it goes to headshots only, because then it's literally just straight accuracy. There's no spraying or anything like that. There's just, if you hit them in the head, they're dead kind of thing. So I would just say pretty much just literally just DM for 40 minutes on the warm-up server and just feel comfortable.
What server do you play on? Is there like a Bravado one or?
No. It's what's it's called, the warm-up servers,
servers,
the
okay, cool.
deathmatch and
okay.
the community thing.
Oh, okay. What is the sensitivity? Wait, I know this. 800 DPI at 0.9. Am I right? I remember reading it on your Wikipedia. 0.9 at 800. So you play.
Am I actually back at that now? Because I changed in the last.
That's pretty slow.
In the last month, I changed like massively actually. Because for some reason, Kian made me he made me change my like MYOR, which changes like your y-axis and your x-axis kind of thing. So I changed my y-axis sensitivity, so it was slower moving left and right, and then it was faster moving up and down.
Okay.
Or vice versa. And I felt super comfortable on that for a while, but then I was like, okay, no, hold on. Like, no pro actually plays with this shit, so I can't do that. Like, it doesn't seem right, especially if I'm trying to copy any of the other pros, like Sense or anything like that. It just doesn't feel
natural
like
to
how they playing. Yeah. So then I think it was like a week ago or something like that, I changed back to the normal MYOR, which took me a bit. But when you go from that, which is a lot slower, to, I think I was on 1.1 at the time, I've had to drop back down to 0.9 just so I could actually play it.
4x3 or 16:9?
4x3. 60:9 is for streamers.
I don't know, bro. I kind of prefer seeing everything, but okay, if you say so. Honestly, I would love to play 4x3, but I have a shit PC and I can't play 4x3 because every time I go to 4x3 and I have Counter-Strike open, my graphics card dies. It literally dies. I don't know how in God's green fuck that is possible that I have a 3070 NVIDIA graphics card where if I alt-tab from a game that is older than me, it crashes my graphics card. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Just wait for CS2 and then you're good.
Yeah, surely that'll fit. Are you excited for CS2 at all, or?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be sick. I've already DM'd quite a lot with the AWP in CS2, and it's like the hit rate is just completely different. Like it feels so good.
Fuck,
because I mean the amount of times that I've used the AWP in like CS:GO, and I'm like, no, that definitely should have hit.
That should have hit.
Compared to in CS2 just everything hits.
Dude, I do this. I've hit so many shots in my life, and then the game's just like nope, and then my chat's like, oh, you just missed, but I know I didn't miss. So I'm just saying that's that's not copium. That is 100% factual.
You had 100,000 people tell you that you missed. And
bro. Like let's not bring that up. I'm very excited for CS2 personally as well. I'm very, very excited. I'm genuinely very disappointed. I expected it, but you know, like there's a little part of you that's like a kid on Christmas morning where you hope you get the PlayStation 5, but you only got the pair of socks. Where I hope that the major we would get something. You know, just something.
We are hoping for that. It will be the same as like Dota 2, you know, every single international or major, they introduce something new or new hero or updates or a new meta change or something like that. Like if you think about it, CS has never done that.
Yeah, I know, but let us hope, bro.
But the problem is that it's just the difference in devs. Like CS has, I think it was like 48 devs, whereas like Dota 2 has like 160 or something like that.
No, that's fine. I guess sometimes we just hope that we get a little bit more. Did you see that ESL tweet yesterday? The video that they posted about
it was
the
such a meme.
Dude, it had me until I saw the money drop as well, and then I see my Discord, dude, and people were dead ass falling for it left and right, and I was like, "There's no way, you believe." Like you can see the video is made in such a meme. And people dead ass fell for it, bro. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the further they are away from the bomb, suddenly it's 5 stars.
Yeah, I
wanted
couldn't believe it, dude. And then there's one of my very, very loyal viewers, his name is Hub. He was like, dude, this visibility shit is so bullshit. Who the fuck would play this game? I'm like, bro, there's no shot you believe this.
To be honest, you should have known that it was fake when someone Zeus to smoke and it kills 2 people.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, guys, let's maybe calm down here.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? I'm super stoked for the game. It would be really cool to like get either just like a little update from Valve or something. But hey, I'm hoping for June.
Yeah. Isn't it releasing 28th of May? Isn't that when it's hit? 2 days from now?
No, why? Where did you get this?
Hold on.
What are you doing, bro? What are you talking? How the fuck how do you have a date, bro? How do you have it?
I'm pretty sure that's when I saw it. I'm pretty sure I saw it was 28th of May.
There's nothing happening on the 30th because it's not summer yet. Summer only starts in June, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Yo, is this an exclusive?
That's just what I remembered.
All right, Reddit.
I don't know where I saw it, but
Reddit, do your thing. Do your thing. It would be really, really sick. What's your cat's name?
The fat boy, his name is Beskar, and then the smaller girl cat, her name is Mandalore, but we call her Manda. Nice. So it's the two cats are named after the actual Mandalorian show.
Mandalorian is Star Wars.
The Star Wars, yes. There we go.
Cool. Hey, I didn't say Star Trek, chat, because it's the same. Dude, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and it was so nice getting to know a little bit more of you. You've given me, someone who's an MM player, different perspective, giving me different perspective on just how the game works. I guess this is why you do have your coaching session, and you know, people can meme about it all they want, or someone can meme about it all they want. I think it's important to see it from a different person's perspective, and especially someone like you. You know, we always make fun of you for being a little bit older, but you've literally been there since the very start, right? Like you've been through all the shit. You've seen all the drama. You've seen all the shitty orgs. You've seen all the shitty planning, all that. It's genuinely, it was so nice getting a little bit of perspective from someone who's seen it all before. And you've definitely made me rethink some of my matchmaking choices. And I can already see my chat telling me, just imagine if you listen to Slowye for this. Or I can already see that happening. So it's genuinely very nice talking to you, and I really, really appreciate it. And I would like to,
the time.
Yeah, bro, anytime. I'd really like to thank your org as well, especially Emma for setting this up. It's the first time I've like full on spoken to like an organization's like actual person. You know, to make sure that this is not only a professional, but yeah, not only professional, but also like so that they get some of their piece of the pie as well. Because I mean, I have a lot of love for Bravado, I have a lot of love for the players, but I have a lot of love for all the local people and like all brands and stuff. So this was really, really cool for me as well. And this is kind of like one of those proud moments for me. Like, hey, I got to speak to fucking someone from Bravado, and like, you know, Bravado was there, and like the CEO was watching as well, and your mom watched as well, dude. And I think that's really, really sick.
My mom was just sitting there saying, "Why is he swearing? Why is he swearing?"
I'm going to give you the red carpet, bro. Have the red carpet. If there's anything you want to shout out, if there's anyone you want to shout out, if there's anything you want to say, please go ahead and do so now, just before I do this outro, which is, mods, can we get a shout out for, I'm guessing your info is on your Twitch account as well? Like your Twitter and everything?
Stream them actually, yeah, everything's on my
Twitter.
Okay,
but yeah, we can give him a shout out, the old classic Twitch shout out. We can also do a nice little copy paste of his Linktree or his Twitter if people want to reach out to him for, as I said, you know, he does coaching. You guys can learn some more if you want to reach out to Slowye for that. But yeah, genuinely, thank you very much. This will be uploaded to YouTube. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments, like the video. Don't be a bitch, bro. You came so far already, you might as well. There it is. There's the Twitter link. Go give it a follow. Give the man some love. And yeah, red carpet is yours. I would wish you the best of luck for the upcoming few weeks. I'm sure you guys will go fucking dick on some EU kids and just slap them around and go show them what you guys are made of, bro.
Thanks. Just wanted to say thanks for having me. Obviously, you've been a great host as usual, as I watch you pretty much every day.
Thanks, brother.
In the quietness of a very boring room. I just want to say shout out to Bravado for everything that they've done for us. Shout out to our sponsors, Dell, Alienware, Intel, all of them. Shout out to the boys, Andreas and Demi, for everything that you guys have done for us, and Tristan as well. Thanks to Emma for the help, and Carmen for everything that you've done for us. And then thanks obviously to my fiance for waiting for me so we can make dinner.
Hearts in chat for the fiance, guys. She's been waiting. Homie's hungry, dude.
And then, just hoping that you guys will continue to show your support for us while we go to Katowice and we try and make everybody proud. And then shout out to my mom for always having my back.
Let's go. Thank you very much, brother. That was amazing. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If you are new to the stream, please do me a favor. You can always leave. I play MM. Leave? What did I just say? You can always leave a follow. Don't leave the stream. You can always leave a follow. We play some Counter-Strike here and we just have a good time. We also have a subathon coming up this Sunday. So if you're new, leave a follow, dude. And if you can do me the biggest favor, you can type !shows. You can follow me there. If not, sub to the YouTube. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all about Slowye, not about me. I love you guys all. Forward kisses. Stay safe. Stay awesome. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends. Take care of your family. Detrony, I love you and I can't wait to hug you one day. Have a good day, everyone. See you guys. Bye-bye.